After two subpar performances by the offense, Steelers quarterback Mitch Trubisky says he's ready to open up the passing game, hopes he gets the call to do just that, adds he needs to get playmakers the ball, make better decisions, and be aggressive. It has been a rough go for Trubisky in both games this season, but he's not Pittsburgh's only problem offensively, notes ESPN's Dan Graziano.
The hope is the line gets better as the season goes along, and they think it will. They can't run the ball right now.
No.
Najee Harris getting tackled in the backfield before he even gets to the line, so that has to get better. So, yeah, you trust Mike Tomlin. Obviously, he's been through, well, not necessarily this, but he's been through stuff before, and he knows how to coach his team through it.
Dan Graziano on Get Up. Bills cornerback Dane Jackson, who took a scary hit in last night's game, released from the hospital after tests revealed he has no major injury to his neck or spinal cord.
How would you love a chance to save some money on car insurance? Geico can help. Switch today and see all the ways you could save with great rates and discounts. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com to get a rate quote and get started seeing how much you could save.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR. Presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Chat with Peter Burns in about 15 minutes. Sean Salisbury, hour 3. Sean Payton has FOMO. Jari Evans to the Hall of Fame, potentially. A lot to get to today. Glad you're aboard with us. Voice is feeling a little better today. Yesterday, y'all, I was riding the struggle bus yesterday. My voice was gone after yelling at the TV, the Saints game. Nearly dropped an F-bomb on air yesterday. What time was that? Do you remember, Muse, what time that was around about in the show?
4:30.
4:30?
4:30.
What? Oh, Shut Up Color Guy.
4:30, yeah.
So if you want to, as close as I have ever come to dropping an F-bomb on air, yesterday, bottom of hour 2, 4:30 Central, go check it out if you dare. All right. Let's get into it. Coming out of the Saints' loss to the Bucs, one of my big takeaways was that, man, if Jameis Winston is hurt, let me rephrase that. If Jameis Winston is injured. There's a difference between hurt and injured. Talk to an athlete that tell you you can play if you're hurt. You can't play if you're injured. If Jameis Winston is injured, then you need to assess this and make a decision that's best for the team. I applaud the warrior mentality, wanting to get out there, but dude's got 4 fractured vertebrae. Clearly, he was not anywhere remotely close to himself on Sunday, and it cost you. So Dennis Allen had media availability Monday afternoon while we were on the air. Here was Dennis Allen giving an update on, let's start with number 6. This is Dennis Allen talking about how Jameis Winston felt coming in on Monday after the game.
How did Jameis feel today? No necessarily worse for wear from playing a full game?
No. Obviously, look, the pain and discomfort is the pain and discomfort of losing a game. That was the pain and discomfort for all of us.
I don't believe him, to be clear. I don't believe him at all. You were talking about fractured vertebrae. And I understand that this in the NFL, everyone plays hurt. There is no such thing as being 100%. but to say pain and discomfort is the pain and discomfort of losing is disingenuous. I understand you wanted to protect your player. You certainly don't want to make him a target. But at this point, with the report being what it is about the severity of this injury, and again, to keep in mind, that was the report about the fractures came from Jay Glazer. Dennis Allen did not confirm it. So believe what you want, but I think collectively we all understand Jay Glazer to be a very credible NFL source. So if Jay Glazer is saying this, I think a lot of people, I certainly do give a tremendous amount of credence to what Jay Glazer reported. Dennis Allen was also asked about Jameis continuing to play while he heals.
And I know you don't want to get too much into what he's dealing with, but you guys did feel pretty confident playing would not exacerbate the injury?
Correct.
Maybe he can continue to heal while playing?
Correct.
So basically, Sean or Dennis Allen saying he'll try to play and heal. And one more, number 3, please. This was about if the back injury affected the accuracy. I apologize. I know it's hard to hear the question. So the question is, did Jameis's back injury impact his accuracy?
Didn't see that. Again, you'll have to ask him whether he feels like that affected him or not. I don't think that was the case.
So I'm trying to. I can certainly appreciate where Dennis Allen is coming from. He's certainly trying to protect the player. He's certainly not trying to scapegoat anybody or make excuses. There's also a very human part of this that you and I both can understand, where you're talking about a human being with fractured vertebrae. I would imagine that hurts tremendously trying to do anything. A few years ago, if you're an LSU baseball fan, Josh Smith had a slight fracture of a vertebrae, and he missed the entire season. He couldn't swing a bat. Imagine trying to play quarterback in the NFL. In Tony Romo's last NFL season in 2016, he had a similar bone fracture in his back. He played in one game. Fractured his back, was going to be out till mid. You remember this is how it happened. He got Wally pipped. He fractured his back in the first game. He was going to be out till about the mid part of the season. Dak came in, played exceptionally well, and Romo never played again. So I'm not suggesting that Jameis gets Wally pipped here, but my point is you've got to look at the severity of what he's facing, and clearly they will. But also the conversation that we had last week about running back with Alvin Kamara, and when they made the signing to bring in Latavius Murray.
Murray, present.
What did we say a week ago? Actions speak louder than words. Don't listen to what I'm saying. Watch what I'm doing. You can say all day and night that you like the player and we're having an eye on him. You wanted to bring him in. No. Alvin Kamara's rib injury was severe enough to keep him out of the game. You brought in Murray as a contingency if Kamara wasn't able to go. They hoped they'd get him able to be able to play by Sunday. He wasn't. They did not activate Latavius Murray.
Murray, present.
But Kamara didn't play. That was it was very obvious why you brought him in. You needed options there. They went with Tony Jones and Dwayne Washington backing up Mark Ingram. This week, if Kamara's not available, who knows? We'll see. But Wednesday's going to tell you what you need to know. Injury report's going to come out Wednesday, and my guess is Jameis ain't going to practice. So at some point, you're going to have to make this determination of how you proceed. But I don't know how you can look at what Jameis Winston did on Sunday and deduce that he wasn't impacted by it. Sometimes great athletes need to be protected from themselves, and I think this is one of those situations with Jameis Winston. We'll see how it goes throughout the course of the week, but that's the update from Dennis Allen. Very coy, but basically being dismissive of all of it, the injury part of it, not being clear and forthcoming with the severity of the injury, but we should well find out in short order whenever the Saints issue a practice report or an injury report, on Wednesday, and then go throughout the week. Okay, it's After Further Review. Glad you're with us here on this Tuesday edition of AFR presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. We're going to knock out our first break of the show. We'll come back. Very pleased every Tuesday to be joined by Peter Burns of the SEC Network. So we'll talk about some of the comings and goings across the conference. Let me remind you about South Point Volkswagen at southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. That's southpointvw.com. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer, new and certified pre-owned. So yes, if you're looking for that brand new Volkswagen model, they have it. All different makes and models. But if you're shopping for a pre-owned vehicle, remember, South Point moves more inventory than any other Volkswagen dealer in the state. So when you trade in your old car, that means their pre-owned inventory grows. So all different makes and models, including trucks and SUVs. If you're looking for a certified pre-owned vehicle, check South Point Volkswagen as well. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right, y'all. Glad to have you aboard with us. You know, you can always email us. You can tweet us. You can text us. 225 at 396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Lots of ways to get involved in the show. We always welcome you to do that, so please take advantage of it. We'll continue with Peter Burns of the SEC Network next.
AFR.
Hey, tomorrow at Pluckers, it is trivia night. So they've got some geography trivia tomorrow at Pluckers, so study up on that. That's all coming up. Every single night of the week, there's something going on at Pluckers. On Monday, of course, all you can eat wings. Tonight and every Tuesday, kids eat free. So Tuesday is a great opportunity to get the whole family together affordably to have a night out at either Pluckers location. Nicholson, just south of campus, or Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Again, remember, every Tuesday, kids eat free at Pluckers. Also, Tuesday, sports trivia, 8:30, hosted by Hunt Palmer at the Nicholson location. Get your team together. No limit to the amount of players you can have on a team. Test your sports knowledge. Win Pluckers gift cards and other great prizes. Remember, every single team at trivia gets to spin the prize wheel. So even if you don't win a round, you're still going to win something just for coming out to Trivia Night at Pluckers. Nicholson, Bluebonnet, Dine and Carry Out. Pluckers, if you don't like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
As a community bank, B1 Bank invests in relationships with the people and businesses we proudly represent. Our B1 bankers are here to help simplify the complicated, understand your needs, and make managing your finances easier. At B1 Bank, we offer an array of solutions to help simplify your transaction needs. B1 Bank, one highly personal banking experience. Visit us online at b1bank.com for more information.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I was texting with Peter Burns earlier today about coming on in this slot just to confirm, and he said we're filming our schedule show, but it should work. Well, Peter Burns joins us now on AFR. Hey, thank you for the time. What is your schedule show?
It is when you plan all your fall or non-fall weddings. So basically 2023, we got the 2023 schedule release show, Matt Moscona, coming out.
The football
and I actually
schedule?
have it, the football schedule, yes, for 2023. I have it in front of me.
Huh.
And I love any time that you hear from your bosses, they're like, this is embargoed, don't share it with anybody.
Yes.
All I want to do now is share it. All I want to do is tell you LSU opens. No, I'm just joking. But
But don't we know that, PB? Like, don't we know who? Oh, so we know the opponents. We don't know.
So we know no. So we always knew the opponents. We
Right.
just don't know when they play them. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I haven't even looked at the LSU one, but I thought the LSU FSU thing was like right off the bat.
Yeah.
For a back-to-back year.
It
So
is.
I think some of those we already know when they decide, like, hey, these opening weekend type deals.
Yeah. Okay. So that's going to be tonight now. So tonight, 6 o'clock Central. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, right after Feinbaum. So after Feinbaum comes on, boom, we
No.
roll into it, and yes,
Right after.
What?
Right
What?
after. Right after AFR. Not
Right after
Feinbaum.
AFR.
Yeah,
That's
bingo.
correct.
Nailed
You see, I'm glad you caught that.
Come on,
that's proper. I know. What am I doing? I'm sorry.
So that's fantastic news. So set your DVR if you have a DVR, or just tune into the SC Network or on the app, stream it at 6 o'clock as soon as we end, and you can catch the LSU and the entire SEC schedule release for next year. Because PB, it's not just who you play, but when and where you play them. So that does absolutely matter.
Yeah, I mean, I'll joke, because we kind of roll our eyes every year. In fact, we're the only conference that does it, right? Like the hashtag, it just means more. Like the Pac-12, I don't even know if they give out like a fax to somebody, right, or even an email what their schedule is. But like we got a whole damn hour planned on it, and then I start thinking about it. All right, this is a little bit overkill.
No.
But Matt, when you start thinking about it too, you're like, all right. I look at it this year. Like Arkansas has like the first 3 or 4 games at home. You want to see where your stretch is, where your bye is going to be. Like, there's certain games like LSU, Alabama is always going to be on a certain time. But outside of that, like, you kind of want to know what, how the whole year is developed and what Brian Kelly's going to have coming in year 2.
Hey, PB, another team that has a front-loaded home schedule this year is Auburn. 5 games at home to open the season, and boy, it ain't looking good. Last week when you were here, I asked you about the rumors with Mark Stoops and Nebraska. I'm sure you saw Pete Thamel from ESPN reported Brian Harsin as a potential candidate at Arizona State. Thoughts?
I mean, West Coast guy, right? I mean, or not West Coast, but at least part of what, over on that side of the Sabine River,
right.
Boise going back down there. I mean, again, the Pac-12, Arizona State, I don't know how great of a job it is, but all I know is the fact that you wouldn't be in the middle of the damn SEC West, which is an absolute juggernaut. And so, I look at this and I fully expect, Matt, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I fully expect we're going to get to a point where Brian Harsin is just in total YOLO mode. Like, hey, you know what? It doesn't. Like, I don't think I'm going to be back out here. You guys don't want me back here. Let's just go have some fun. And honestly, that's where some of these teams are really dangerous. So they don't give a you know what. Like, there's nothing. You're playing with houses money, like buyout money. Like at that point, why not? The problem is I couldn't believe that Penn State went in there and just absolutely crushed them in that second half.
Same.
Like that, it's weird to see an SEC team get pushed around, albeit probably the 12th best team in the conference, but still, man, that just hit me wrong.
If we were wondering, as we did all throughout media days, who's the worst team in the SEC West, I think we have our answer now. I'm curious. Look, if If Auburn loses at home to Missouri, I'm not asking you to make this prediction. I'm sensitive to the fact that you work for the network, but it's plausible to think that. I mean, Auburn, it wouldn't be surprising if they did anything, but if they lose at home to Missouri as a touchdown favorite, maybe they make a change now. It would.
Yeah, there's just certain teams, right, Matt? Like you always feel like you shouldn't lose to, and for whatever reason, Missouri, has been one of those teams. Even when they entered the conference back in 2014, 2015, people are like, we're the SEC. Like, Gary Pinkel had some pretty good teams, but it's like, we should just absolutely steamroll Mizzou. Now, I don't think Mizzou's great, but again, I put them on equal footing right now of Auburn. And what baffles me is how some of these athletic departments work. And Matt, the reason why I bring that up is think about Nebraska and Scott Frost. Had they waited to October the 1st, they would have had to pay $7.5 million for his buyout.
Right.
Well, they didn't wait. They decided to pay his full buyout of $15 million. I'm like, why in the hell would you not wait 2 extra weeks and save yourself $7.5 million to go use towards your next coaching staff? Like, this is why you're Nebraska, and this is why stuff like this doesn't work.
Yes, unless if you have someone who's really rich who's just ready to say, I'm done. Here is the $7 million. I do not care.
But even in the world of name, image, and likeness now, hell, throw that $7.5 million into the NIL the collective or the kitty and find a better use of it. Like 10 years ago, I can see that, but man, like now in the name of name, image, and likeness and these collectives, I guarantee you there's a way to better use that money.
PB, isn't that a reason? But isn't that a great illustration of why Nebraska can still be a good job because of because of the resources? If you have the kind of money where you can just, instead of being patient for 2 weeks, piss away $7.5 million, like you should have resources to win if you get the right person.
And Matt, I saw it too. If you look at that, that's one of the most loyal fan bases that have just been kicked in the teeth over and over and over again, right? Yeah. And yet, when I was watching them play Oklahoma, I'm like, damn. That place is packed, and week in and week out, like people, it's a religion. And I do wonder with name, image, and likeness about, are we going to get to a point to where the Miamis, the Texas, the Nebraskas of the world have so much fan bases behind them that the collective actually punches through, that name, image, and likeness becomes a little bit of a deal and the parity level is a little bit better? They just got to find the right coach. I'll ask you this, okay? Deion Sanders, how intrigued are you with that name? Not linking him to any, but as far as a coach in general.
Well, he's going to be the head coach at Florida State.
It seems almost too easy that he would be at FSU, but then you get into a situation like Mike Norvell keeps winning. It's like that awkward, like, all right, Clay Helton was always like a great dude, and they didn't want to get rid of him because he was like a nice guy, but USC kept winning 8 games. And I was told that Deion and FSU did not have the greatest relationship because they kind of scoffed at him the first time that he said he wanted to be the coach there. But also FSU scoffed at Mark Stoops as well, too. And I think that would have been a hell of a hire for the Seminoles.
Peter Burns is with us on Twitter at Peter Burns ESPN, courtesy of our friends over at Blue Delta Jeans. It's interesting that you mentioned your teams on the schedule that you feel like you should always beat, kind of dovetailing the Auburn-Missouri conversation. That was my takeaway of LSU-Mississippi State. Like beating an unranked Mississippi State team is nothing that should be celebrated, except for the fact that when you're LSU and you're building again, you still beat Mississippi State by 2 touchdowns. What was your takeaway to what happened Saturday in Tiger Stadium?
Yeah, it's death taxes and LSU beating State, right? I mean, it kind of felt that way, and it was just it really felt as if State just kept, literally dropping the ball. I don't know what the stats were, but it seemed like every time I turn it on and look at a huge play was coming up for the Bulldogs, they had a crossing pattern or a crossing route that would have gone 15 yards had the guy actually caught the damn ball, but he didn't. And a credit, man. Jay Ward was an absolute beast. That defensive line, like, it pains me, Matt, to see like how good that D line could be and that front 7 can be, knowing that Mason Smith's not healthy.
I know.
It feels like just we were robbed or something of not being able to see a healthy 0 all season long, because man, this team keeps feeling like, and I talked to Brian Kelly about it this week, and it feels like at least they're fighting. And I don't know how much fight there was post-2019 in LSU football. And the fact that these fourth quarters and these second halves have been solid, man, this is what I want to see in growth out of year one for BK.
Yeah, man. I saw on SEC this morning, your Tell the Truth segment. A lot of people have talked about this. Your comments about Georgia, that they're going to go down as one of the greatest college football teams we've ever seen. Okay, wait, why the chuckle? Go ahead and explain the chuckle.
Just the amount. It's so funny, the amount of Georgia people in the last 48 hours that have come up to me. Half of them, Matt, are like upset. They're like, "Why are you doing this? Do not put this on us. Do not jinx us." And the other half are like, "Hell yeah, we are." And I go look at this, and I'm like, "Dude, you're playing with house money. Like, you won last year. Who cares what happens this year? Like, own this." And I got to be honest with you, Moscona, like this seems stupid good. And there's so many guys that haven't had an opportunity to get on the field yet that this next level is ridiculous. When I talk to people down in Athens, like it's Kirby's a damn machine. He's just 20 years younger than Nick and doing Nick type things.
I know. That's what I think. That's what Florida is hoping they have with Napier, obviously, and time will tell to see. But here's how I'll pose the question. Look at Georgia's schedule. Where is the most likely regular season loss?
I mean, the only one that scares me is Tennessee, and that's just because Tennessee can put on a boatload of points. But then again, now Georgia can as well. Like if this Tennessee team would have played last year's Georgia squad, I'm like, all right, because I didn't have a whole lot of success or thinking that Stetson Bennett and Todd Monken had it figured out if they figured out these mismatches the way that they've done. But like, Matt Stinchcombe's here, and we were looking at some of the film. Matt, like even some of the plays that Brock Bowers is open, it's like LSU in 2019 where he's not the only guy that's open by 4 yards. It's literally dealer's choice right now that there's 2 or 3 guys. And we said that about Bama's offense in 2020. We said it about LSU's offense with Burrow and that whole crew. But you combine the fact that the defense is just loaded. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I mean, you have to be crazy to be incredible at any event. Like anything you do as a profession, you have to be a little bit like a screw loose. Kirby's got a screw loose. And I think every day he wakes up in the morning like, how in the hell am I going to beat Nick Saban? And now that he's got this like blood quenched thirst in his mouth, I don't think he's going to back down from it at all.
So Tennessee, that's a home
find
game.
Me another game. Is there another one that I mean, I like Kentucky. I think Kentucky's a good above average team right now. I think they're good, but Georgia's got 8 NFL guys on that team. You give me a team that's 15% of an NFL roster, and I'm going to beat your ass pretty much every single day of the week.
They Georgia after their bye is home against Florida, home against Tennessee, at Mississippi State, at Kentucky, home against Georgia Tech. The reason I point out Kentucky is because it is a road game, and it would be the 4th consecutive week of conference play and back-to-back road games. It's just more the spot on the schedule where I go, maybe like that could talent, of course.
Sure. I mean, listen, Doring said the same exact thing. I mean, I went on this whole riff about how they were going to go undefeated. Nobody's going to be close. And he's like, until they go into Lexington. And the only thing, and because of those reasons, right, 4 straight conference games are going to be banged up. But I'm like, all right, is Kentucky not going to be banged up at the end of their season? I mean, like everybody, every team. I mean, hell, look at what LSU's had to go through in the last couple of years. Like once you get into conference play, nobody's healthy. And if I can look at 100 guys on a roster, well, I'm going to think that Kentucky's 100 guys that have played the same season aren't going to be as healthy and probably aren't going to be as good as the guys that are still remaining for Georgia at this point.
Okay. No, I'm not sitting here telling you that I would take my hard-earned money and bet against Georgia. I'm just looking for the possible letdown spot, which happens. It's going to happen. Every team that's ever played in the history of football plays their worst game of the season. At some point, where does it come? Against who? Can they overcome it? That's the big question.
Last quick question for you real quick. If you were ranked, because we got into the big debate here, you're ranking SEC offices quickly, or the offenses. How do you rank them right now in the SEC?
Offenses?
Offense.
Are you just trying to get me to say who do I think is the best offense in the league?
Yeah, I mean, I actually had Georgia at 1. If you don't have Georgia at 1, I felt like it was between Georgia and Tennessee being the two best offenses, and I would have never thought I'd say that with Alabama having Heisman Trophy winner Bryce Young.
I still think we are horrendously overreacting to a bad day in Austin for Alabama. I think
Agreed.
They are.
Agreed. I think that defense is actually legit.
They are not strong at receiver, but neither is Georgia. Georgia makes up for it because they got a bunch of freak show tight ends.
Right.
I'm not punting Bama and Bryce Young and that whole squad just because they had a rough day at the office in Austin. PB, every team in the history of everything, you play your best game of the season, you play your worst game of the season. I think Bama played their worst in Austin, and they still managed to win. So
it's scary. It is truly scary, and that's what Brian Kelly's got to understand. And he has to have that same passion that Kirby had and that Nick has built. Because I mean, even Jimbo, right? As much as Jimbo wants it, I don't even think there's levels that Jimbo wants it enough, and that's why they haven't punched through at A&M right now.
Peter Burns with us on behalf of the good people over at Blue Delta Jeans, BlueDeltaJeans.com, BlueDeltaJeans.com. Always appreciate the visit, man. We'll do it again next week.
Thanks, buddy. See ya.
All right, dude. We'll see you. That's Peter Burns. It's after further review. We will knock out a quick break and go around the SEC. Stay here.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouse's, official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouses.com or download the Rouse's app. They do have delivery and pickup options. So download the Rouse's app. Select all your items. They will go pick them out for you when you pull up. Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. Your personal shopper will bring your items out to your car. Saves you time. So whether you're going to the Dome or you're going to watch the Purple and Gold play, whatever it is, of course, or you just want your groceries for the week and you want to save some time, maybe on the way home from work, Rouse's can help. Conveniently located everywhere. You can find a location near you at Rouse's.com. The one nearest my house is the one in Long Farm, of course. The Rouse's on Burbank. And Lee is the home of Eagle 98.1 Game Day all throughout the season. Of course, Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. For your football Saturdays, Sundays, or any day, make it Rouse's. Rouse's.com, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's, this feels like home.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Congratulations to Grant Ducey of Baton Rouge. Grant is our Week 3 winner in the 2022 Twin Peaks College Football Pick'em Contest and wins a $50 Twin Peaks gift card. Don't forget to make your picks for Week 4 by 5 p.m. on Thursday. Play the 2022 Twin Peaks College Football Pick'em today at 1045ESPN.com.
I forgot to make my picks.
Yes, so did I.
Well, no, according to Terrio's rules, though, that just means it's just incomplete. We get to go back and make our picks.
That's not how it works, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, week 3 is done.
Then how about you speak up on Friday when he's in here, spouting his pablum? How about that?
Yeah, I mean, sure. Yeah, how about it? I mean, I like it, yeah.
I mean, you don't get to not show up and just not be penalized. Terrio no-showed for the pick'em. How did we do last week, Paulie? Have you charted it yet? Cool, no worries. You have until Friday. Don't worry about it, Paul. It's all good. Sure, it worked out just fine. All right, Terrio, of course, will be here Friday. We'll do our pick'em segment, all that good stuff. Sean Salisbury in hour number 3. I do want to talk to Sean when he's here in hour 3 about... we'll certainly talk about Jaden Daniels and what Brian Kelly focused on Monday, which is when to run, when to pass, that sort of stuff. I know it's a big conversation that fans are having right now. Is Daniels running too much? It's the question I asked Brian Kelly on Monday. But also want to ask Sean Salisbury about Jameis playing with a broken back, and how much, because we can listen to Dennis Allen downplay it and say it's not affecting him, didn't affect the accuracy, any of that stuff. But I don't know, man. It kind of feels like you're peeing on my head and telling me it's raining outside. So we'll talk about that with Sean in hour number 3. All right, glad to have you aboard with us here. I'm not sure if you saw this, but Oregon played BYU this past weekend. Oregon ended up really pounding BYU. It was 41-20 was the final there at Autzen Stadium. Oregon's won now 21 in a row at home. It's just one of the best home field advantages that there is in college football. Well, apparently during the game, at some point, Oregon students started chanting, "F the Mormons." Well, I know, right? Oregon has now apologized to BYU. BYU issued a statement Monday thanking Oregon for the apology and says that the behavior does not reflect the values of the University of Oregon. They understand that it was isolated to students, some students. An Oregon student organization has issued an apology calling it hateful speech. The Oregon Student Office of Student Life, has issued a statement saying they plan to investigate. How about this? There was a high school quarterback, a recruit out of Salem, Oregon. His name is T.C. Manumaleuna, who's being recruited by Oregon, who happens to be Mormon. He and his family left the game as a result. When he was asked after if that would take Oregon off his list, he said, "I'd be lying if I said it didn't have some kind of impact on me." Like, that kind of stupidity might well cost you a quarterback recruit. It's just so crazy because, this comes, and sort of coinciding with the fan in Las Vegas hitting Kyler Murray. And we've just seen this so much, man. And it boggles the mind, man. Like, I don't understand how people. I mean, my theory on this, as I've talked about for a lot of years, my theory on this is that fans have this. It's almost like when you're at the zoo and there's a lion or a tiger that's like apex predator on the other side of that cage, that glass. You feel like you can get right up next to him because you're protected. There's that barrier right there. And so there's this feeling of invincibility. And I think when fans go to a game, it's the same mentality. Obviously, there's not a physical barrier like that, but you feel like, oh, that player's never coming over this wall. And you lose sight of reality, which is if those two dudes walk 100 yards and they're outside of the stadium, the guy that smacked Kyler Murray on the head is never doing that. The students that were chanting F the Mormons at Oregon, if they go outside of Autzen Stadium and they run into a BYU football player, they're not going to yell F the Mormons at the BYU football player outside of the stadium. It's this weird social experiment, how people behave when they get into an athletic venue as a fan, when you think like rules of human decency don't exist. And we've talked about this forever with LSU fans and the neck chant. I don't know if me saying this today is going to help anybody come to any realization. Probably won't, because every time I've talked about it before, you still have morons try to justify the behavior. So if you're the moron who's trying to justify the behavior, you're probably still going to be a moron trying to justify the behavior after we talk about it here today. But if you wouldn't, let this be your general rule of thumb. If you wouldn't do or say something to someone outside of the stadium, don't do or say it inside the stadium either. It's a pretty good rule of thumb. Abide by that and you should be okay. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by Relief Windows. 288-8138, 288-8138, or reliefwindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank and vinyl siding. Go to the website at reliefwindows.com. You can hit the siding tab right there, and you can learn about all the different options that they offer with all of their siding, their hardy plank and vinyl siding there at Relief Windows. Again, 288-8138, 288-8138. Siding is durable. It's long-lasting. It comes finished in whatever color that you want. There's a great variety. It is weather-resistant, won't chip or crack or peel. And it makes your home more energy efficient as well. It can be storm-resistant, fire-resistant. Learn more about their vinyl and hardy plank siding options at Relief Windows. 288-8138, 288-8138 for Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. All right, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Alabama starting cornerback Kyrie Jackson was spotted leaving Brian Dennehy Stadium in a walking boot Saturday. Nick Saban said the senior has a sprained ankle. He's day-to-day and is questionable for the SEC opener against Vanderbilt this week. He's part of a four-man rotation that includes Kool-Aid McKinstry, Terrion Arnold, and Eli Ricks.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Tennessee's down to score four scholarship running backs, and their lead rusher, Jabari Small, and their second-team running back, Dylan Sampson, both picked up minor injuries in the win over Akron over the weekend. But running backs coach Jerry Mack had an update on Tuesday, said all backs were full speed, full go. Vols are working on contingency plans for this weekend's game against Florida. They're actually repping tight end Princeton Fant at running back.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Shane Beamer had a lengthy list of injuries to update on Tuesday, including Corey Rucker, who did practice on Tuesday. Beamer said everyone who you're going to ask me about is questionable for Saturday's game against Charlotte. That includes starting left tackle Jalen Nichols and about a half a dozen defensive players, including Alex Huntley, Stone Blanton, R.J. Roderick, and others. So might be a get-healthy week for South Carolina as they play Charlotte.
The Texas A&M Aggies.
Aggies had four freshmen suspended for the game on Saturday against Miami. Evan Stewart, Chris Marshall, Smoke Bowie, and Denver Harris. Jimbo Fisher confirmed all will be eligible this week to return against Arkansas. Stewart already has 10 catches on the season so far for 105 yards. Marshall, 4 catches for 41 yards. Bowie played in the opener, and Harris had played in the first 2 games with 5 tackles before missing the Miami game.
The Missouri Tigers.
Eli Drinkwitz made some subtle changes to the depth chart this week for game at Auburn. They're switching punters. Jack Stonehouse will do the honors. Their right guard, they're replacing as well. Mitchell Walters replaces incumbent Connor Wood. And as a punt returner, looks like Luther Burden III will replace Chris Abrams-Drain.
The Auburn Tigers.
And Auburn, despite losing over the weekend, landed its second commit in 2 days. This time a 3-star offensive lineman, Janoris Wilson, out of Lakeland, Florida. He committed to Auburn on Monday night. The day before, on Sunday, Auburn landed 3-star defensive tackle Jamarion Harkless. Wilson had offers from Georgia Tech, Oregon, North Carolina, and others. Auburn now with 10 commits for the 2023 class. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products, celebrating 20 years as the official office equipment provider of LSU Athletics. That's right, a corporate partner of LSU for 2 decades now. That's Gulf Coast Office Products, as they are great supporters of the local teams and always have been. The official office equipment provider of the Saints, the Pelicans, the ULL, Ragin' Cajuns. It's Gulf Coast Office Products, a national leader among Savin dealers, but they will proudly service all different makes and models. It's Gulf Coast Office Products, GCOPnet.com, GCOPnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Okay, y'all, it is After Further Review. In about 15 minutes from right now, a lot of people have been asking about guys like Kayshon Boutte. Slow start to the season. Might that affect his draft stock? Well, we have a little bit of a peek behind the curtain as far as the draft and some of these early questions, including one LSU player who is dramatically increasing his draft stock early in the season. Again, we'll get to that in about 15 minutes from right now. When we come back, though, looks as though conference realignment has claimed another major college football rivalry. I have some thoughts on it. We'll get to that next on AFR.
AFR.
And I love telling you about Clegg's Nursery, and especially this time of year. One of our favorite times of year in the Moscona household, when fall rolls around and the decor is out at Clegg's. That means one Erica Moscona is a frequent shopper at Clegg's. Pumpkins, hay bales, scarecrows, squash, gourds, corn stalks, witches, ghosts, all that sort of stuff for fall and for Halloween. Clegg's has great displays. If you want to go decorate your indoor or outdoor spaces this fall, Clegg's has everything that you'll need. So go check them out at any of the 4 locations. Sieg near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Of course, all your fall bedding plants. You need your fall vegetable garden seeds. They've got that as well. They've got Johnny Naylor seeds and everything you'd find at a True Value hardware store. Buy local, shop local, and tell them I sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
To Corval Toyota and meet with a sales specialist to build your new Toyota. It's easy and stress-free. Or if you're looking for a pre-owned, we have a wide variety. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Shop, Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shop a style. Oh, yeah!
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Brett McMurphy of the Action Network reported on Tuesday that looks like college football realignment will bring to an end another rivalry. This time it's Bedlam between Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. Both athletic directors confirmed to Brett McMurphy that when Oklahoma joins the SEC, the Bedlam series will no longer be played. It has been played annually for the last 112 years. It's been played 116 times overall. Bedlam began in 1904. That was actually 3 years before Oklahoma became a state. You got your what I learned for the show today.
What were the universities called?
That's a great question. Why don't you look that up, please?
Okay.
Well, you can look that up for me. That would be a wonderful little tidbit to know. But they've been playing Bedlam for longer than Oklahoma was a state because it couldn't be Oklahoma State University.
Right. It couldn't be University of Oklahoma.
That's very true. Well, I guess you could be. I mean, you could be still. It could have still been called Oklahoma. It just wasn't a state.
Yeah, it just wasn't.
Whatever the territory was called. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe that'll be part of Plucker's geography trivia tomorrow. We'll see. But I want to be very clear. The lead of this piece from Brett McMurphy is incorrect. The lead reads, Conference Realignment has claimed yet another victim. This time it's the annual Bedlam series between Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. Conference Realignment didn't end Bedlam. The old stuffy dudes in suits who got their feelings hurt and decided to make this a ego-driven political decision ended Bedlam. And to be very clear, it's Oklahoma State is the problem. Oklahoma State's athletic director, Chad Weiberg, said, quote, playing Oklahoma presents logistical issues under our current scheduling structure. We don't have any openings to play them. We're full. Unless there are significant undertakings to make it happen, it can't happen. Joe Castiglione from Oklahoma said, quote, Oklahoma State has shown no interest to schedule any future games in football, so we're moving on. It's very clear. Oklahoma's going to the SEC. Oklahoma State has their feelings hurt because they realize they're in a vulnerable situation, and so they're not going to play the game. Realignment isn't costing this series or isn't causing the series to end. The Oklahoma State administrators, boosters, etc., who all had their feelings hurt, are causing this to end. I would like to remind you. I wrote this down. I think I have it right. Muse, can you fact check me? What conference does Florida play in?
Florida's in the SEC.
What about Florida State?
Oh, no, they're in the ACC.
Oh, well, they play every year.
Yeah.
What conference is Kentucky in?
Kentucky's also in the SEC.
What conference is Louisville in?
Louisville is also in the ACC.
So they're not in the same conference?
No.
But they play every year.
Yeah, last week of the season.
Okay. South Carolina?
Also SEC.
Clemson?
Believe it or not, at ACC, yeah.
They play.
Yeah, last week of the season.
Georgia?
Georgia's in the SEC.
Georgia Tech?
ACC.
No.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Swear.
But they play.
Last week of the season.
Weird. BYU?
BYU's an independent.
Utah?
The Pac-12.
But they play every year.
Yeah, the Holy War.
How does that happen?
Beats me.
Army?
They are an independent.
Navy?
Yeah, Navy's in the American.
Yeah,
I
they
knew
are,
one of
right?
them was in a conference.
Right?
Brain fart. Yeah.
But they play every year.
Yeah, last week. Actually, after the season.
Weird. Hey, loser, moron administrators. Get out of your feelings and make the game happen, idiots.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service, name brand tires at wholesale prices. 17 locations across South Louisiana. If you need bumper-to-bumper auto service or name brand tires at wholesale prices, the only place you'll find it is at Shawbills. ShawBillsTire.com. You can schedule service online if you need your tires rotated. You need an oil change, if your brakes are squeaking, if the check engine light has come on, whatever maintenance you need, Shawbills can help you with it. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. And of course, if you are, it's about time to buy new tires, Shawbills can help. Go to the website, ShawBillsTire.com, hit the Find Tires tab right there in the middle, find the location nearest you, and you can see all of the offers that they have, and you can actually shop tires by your vehicle's specifications. Really easy to use at the website at ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Check out all of the promotions right there on the homepage as well. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. A mega deal for Avalanche star Nathan MacKinnon. He re-signed with the defending Stanley Cup champs. The new 8-year, nearly $101 million extension will make MacKinnon, a former #1 overall pick, the highest-paid player in the NHL. Jalen Hurts showed a national audience why he's the Eagles' franchise quarterback. Threw for 333 yards, ran for 57 yards, accounted for 3 total touchdowns in the 17-point win over the Vikings on Monday Night Football. And big things could be in store for Hurts and the Eagles this season, says our Keyshawn Johnson.
You look at where they're at in their schedule, they've got a cakewalk into the bye. And even after the bye, they got the Commanders, the Jaguars, the Cardinals, the Cowboys, a bye, the Steelers, and the Texans.
All right.
Come on now.
Listen.
Their schedule is set up for them to have the #1 seed in the NFC.
Keyshawn of Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Dodger icon Maury Wills, who spent 12 of 14 seasons with the team and won 3 World Series titles, has died. Wills, one of the best players of his generation, as well as one of the best base stealers of all time, was 89 years old.
Summer Bonanza means more business in the fall months. Hire right with Indeed. Their integrated solution lets you schedule and conduct video interviews all in one place. Finding your next great hire has never been this easy. Get hiring at Indeed.com/credit.
If you haven't, Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
Hour 2. Off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
I am sweating.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusu. And Mr. Toby Tompley. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there. Make it a good one. Look, some beer with Feinswog in about 15 minutes from right now. Also want to ask Lee about, Aaron Judge, who's on the doorstep of history. And since Lee is both old and from New York, this would be something that I would like his opinion on, considering Lee probably watched the Babe back in 1927 hit his 60th homer. So perspective from someone who's watched Babe Ruth, Roger Maris, and now Aaron Judge. That's all coming up with Lee Feinswog here shortly. Why don't you smirk?
I don't think Lee was... Lee's old, but I don't think Lee was around in, like, the 1920s.
Why wouldn't you think that?
He's just not that old. He's old, but he's not that old.
Agree to disagree.
Okay.
I want to get some draft stock here in just a second. We do like to look at bowl projections after the week of the weekend of college football. USA Today, they still got Georgia and Bama playing for the Natty. They got Georgia against Oklahoma in the Peach Bowl, Bama against Ohio State in the Fiesta. So that's a little interesting as you're starting to see Oklahoma start to get some respect. That was one of the things we talked about in our college football takeaways from Monday. My hand's in the air. I've largely ignored Oklahoma. Brent Venables coming over. Dylan Gabriel at quarterback, the UCF transfer. I'm just sort of like, okay, you're going to have to prove it to me at some point. I believe that was a machine that Lincoln Riley inherited, had pumping offensively. So can Venables keep it going? We'll see. He'll have his opportunities. But boy, do they look good in the way that they handled Nebraska on Saturday. Arkansas in the Sugar Bowl against Oklahoma State. Kentucky in the Citrus, Tennessee in the ReliaQuest Bowl. The, let's see, Ole Miss in the Music City. This is one that probably is appropriate now. A&M has been dropped from the ranks of New Year's Six projections. It's where they basically flipped with Arkansas. So you're seeing Arkansas in the Sugar and A&M in the Gator. Auburn in the Texas Bowl. They've got LSU pegged to play Iowa State in the Liberty Bowl. Holy moly. Can you imagine? Who would go? I mean, if you're in that game, that Liberty Bowl is December the 28th. By the way, did you ever find out what the Oklahoma State and Oklahoma school names were?
Oklahoma was founded
real quick. So to reset, I'm sorry, okay, hold on.
Total tangent.
Let me do this. Let me finish this. Okay. Let me finish this. But remind me. Don't let me go on to the next thing. Okay. If I do,
interrupt
me. Okay. Got it. They've got LSU against Iowa State in the Liberty Bowl on December 28th. Mississippi State, the Birmingham Bowl. Would you rather go to the Liberty Bowl or the Birmingham Bowl if it comes down to it for LSU?
Liberty Bowl.
Liberty Bowl, I think, has more prestige. In Memphis,
I'd rather go to Memphis than Birmingham.
See, Birmingham's sneaky underrated, man.
Birmingham.
No, I'm telling you, Birmingham. When you think Birmingham, in your head, you're thinking Alabama, and you're thinking Hoover, like Hoover Met, all that stuff. Birmingham is actually really nice. There's I could do Birmingham, but look, Beale Street and all that stuff in Memphis is cool. Anyway, and Birmingham Bowl is December 28th, so Liberty's December 27th, and then Liberty's the 20th. And then they've got Florida playing UCLA in the Las Vegas Bowl. Again, I'm going to be devastated. If it comes down to it and you're looking at a bunch of 7 or 8 win teams in the SEC and LSU gets shipped to the Liberty Bowl and Florida or Mississippi State gets to go to Vegas.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
I'm just going to be devastated. Like, the one consolation of being a not great football team is that, you're not in the mix for New Year's Six or anything like that. The one consolation now in the SEC is you have the opportunity to go to Las Vegas.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
I want that assignment. Vegas Bowl, please. Oh, this was the other interesting. How about this matchup? This was the other one that caught my mind. I got to uncrumple my paper. Texas against Southern Cal in the Alamo Bowl.
Hey,
that would be a dream matchup.
San Antonio?
I think, however, they are grossly undervaluing USC at this point.
Very much so, yes.
If you think USC, look up.
They're going to year 6.
It is hard to imagine them not going New Year's 6. I'm trying to pull up the rest of their schedule. Obviously they're going to have to play Utah.
But I don't think they play Oregon. I think they dodge Oregon.
All right, here you go. This week they're at Oregon State. I'm sorry, they're off this week. And then they're at – no, I'm sorry. This week, my bad. They play at Oregon State, home against Arizona State, win.
Yeah, interim head coach. Yeah,
right.
Win.
Home against Washington State, win. At Utah.
That's tough. Rice Eccles.
That'll tell you everything you need to know.
You'll learn a lot.
At Arizona.
W.
Home against Cal.
Yeah, it's a win.
Home against Colorado.
Definitely a win. They might score 100.
At UCLA.
Dub.
And then, so game being the Rose Bowl, then home against Notre Dame. We'll see what Notre Dame is by the end of the season. But
Utah.
If USC ends up 10-2, they're in the New Year's Six.
Absolutely.
On brand alone, with Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley, all of the people sitting in that committee room, they will give the benefit of the doubt to Southern Cal, and they will be in the New Year's Six. I don't see 3 losses on the schedule with that coach, that quarterback, and that league. Utah, Notre Dame, I would say, are the 2 maybes.
Yeah.
Unless if you just hit the tripwire somewhere, which happens. It's college football and could very well happen. But, man, it's hard to see where it could happen on that schedule other than, obviously, on the road at Utah. Your other road games for the remainder of the season are Oregon State, Arizona, and UCLA. Maybe I'm completely underselling Jonathan Smith and Oregon State. Maybe I am.
Dodging Oregon is huge.
Absolutely.
Dodging Oregon.
By the way, USC is a 6.5-point favorite, road favorite this week at Oregon State. Reser Stadium, and sometimes things get weird. I get it. It's Pac-12 after dark. It's an 8:30 Central kick. I get it. That was where Mark Sanchez's team, that was, I think, number 1 in the country, lost. They lost on a Thursday night at Reser Stadium. So I get it. Things happen, but boy, that's surprising to see. Because I mean, if you're a Pac-12 team and you're in the Alamo Bowl, you're an 8-4, 9-3 type team. If that's where you end up, it's hard for me to see where all of those losses come for this USC team. But that's where they'll play it out. All right, it's after further review. Yes.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Reset, please. Reset.
All right. So, Bedlam's going to end because Oklahoma State's a bunch of ninnies. And
Hashtag fact.
We learned that series started in 1904 before Oklahoma was even a state, like ratified a state. So I said, well, what were the universities called if it wasn't the state of Oklahoma? I mean, one of them is literally Oklahoma State. The other one's the University of Oklahoma. Oklahoma State was founded Christmas Day, 1890. As Oklahoma Agricultural and Mechanical College.
Okay, Oklahoma A&M.
The University of Oklahoma was founded also in 1890 as Norman Territorial University. Which rolls right off the tongue. NTU,
Norman Territorial U. NTU.
NTU.
Print the shirts. I love it. All right, it's after further review. Thank you. So, Oklahoma State, Christmas Day in 1890. Why would you do it on Christmas Day?
I don't know.
It's right smack dab in the middle of Christmas break.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
You went to there wasn't even a school. All of a sudden, you just come back from Christmas break. Bam, first day of school. Yeah, how about it?
One. There it is. All right, it's after further review. I do want to talk some draft stuff here, including some draft experts' opinions on Kayshon Boutte's slow start and one LSU player who is rocketing up draft boards. I want to talk about that. We will get to that, but I got a break. So let me stay on time. We'll come back. We'll talk with Feinswog. We'll talk about beer. I'll ask him what it was like to watch the Babe play in 1927. And then maybe bottom of the hour, we'll circle back to that draft conversation. I also want to talk about Jari Evans, who is first year eligible on the ballot for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That list came out today. I want to talk about that coming up. Sean Salisbury in hour 3. God, we got so much to do. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Buy one, list one free. It really is that easy with Darren James and Associates, powered by eXp Realty. Buy one, list one free. If you hire Darren James to represent you on the purchase of your new home, and remember, when you hire a realtor on the buy side, you do not pay commission. The commission comes from the seller. So hire a realtor to represent you on the purchase side, which is so important too. Can help you find properties that maybe you're not sure exist, or can help narrow down your list, schedule listing appointments, point out things in a home, help you negotiate, all that sort of. It's so important. Hire Darren to represent you on the buy side, and he will list your home for free. 335-7666. 335-7666. 335-7666 or agent225.com. Think real estate? Think Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I've got that blue sky. I've got that sunshine.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hey, Lee, how are you?
Hello, Matt.
How are you?
How are you?
I asked you.
I am well, thank you. I'm curious because you said we were going to one of the topics you brought up took me down memory lane, if you will, and I've done a little confirming of my research, if you will.
Memory lane, back when you watched the Bambino hit number 60 in 1927?
Yeah, that was the first one. And I did, from that team, I did make a Wally Pipp reference to somebody recently. But no, I did. I know you love to give me the old guy thing, and you love old guy stories.
Yes.
And so, but the first year that I went to a Major League Baseball game was 1961.
Okay, that was the Roger Maris year, of course.
Right. So the early in that year, my first baseball memory ever, and all I can remember is Game 7 of the 60 World Series. Bill Mazeroski hit a home run to win a 7-game World Series for the Pittsburgh Pirates over the Yankees. And I probably watched some Yankees, before that. So I was born in 54, so that, was in my 6th year, if you will, or 6th birthday year. So, yeah, exactly. Well, I am. So, all right. So
you're like my
the next
dad.
year, I started paying. I'm older than your dad.
No, you're not.
I started paying.
I think y'all are the same age. No, he was 53. He was 1953.
I think he's a year older. So, that 61 was when I first started actually following it and paying attention. And it was a really good Yankees team, of course. And so the first year, I went to a game early in the year. My dad took me, and we sat behind home plate in the upper deck, a few rows up. It was pretty cool. And the first time you walk, when you're that age and you walk through the tunnel and you see the stadium and the big green field and everything, and it was just, oh, my gosh, my mouth dropped open. It was so incredible. So late in the year, he got tickets to a game, and as it turned out, it was against the Red Sox on September 24th. And it was the day before Maris hit number 60. He had 59. And, of course, 61 he hit later on, later on in the season. Not too – there wasn't much left of the season then. But, that was an unbelievable Yankees team. They not only did Maris hit 61 homers and they won 109 games, there were 6 guys on that team who had 20 or more homers. I don't know if you realize that. And if you're really dying to know, the 2 catchers, Elston Howard and Johnny Blanchard, both had 21 homers. And Yogi Berra, who was also a catcher but played left field, had 22 homers. And Bill Skowron, who was known as Moose, had 28 homers. And then lost in all those 61 homers, for Maris, was Mickey Mantle, who played most of that season injured, had 54.
Well, that was the whole thing, right? I mean, the two of them kind of had a race to see who could catch the babe, and Yankee fans were more by the way, the reason I bring this up today is Aaron Judge is sitting on 59 homers. And with his next home run, he will hit number 60. And he will have done it in fewer games than Babe Ruth did. The reason for the asterisk in 1961 is that Roger Maris hit his 61st homer, and it took him more games. The season had not yet been expanded when Ruth hit 60. And so so Maris hit 61, but it took him more games to do. I believe it was in the 154th game of the year, maybe. Or no, it was the last day of the season. So it had to be 162, right? Maybe Ruth did it in 154. Anyway,
you got that right. That's right.
So Aaron Judge, take all of the steroid guys out of it. That was all National League anyway. Aaron Judge is about to make history. He's about to be the fastest American League player ever to 60 home runs, doing something that only Babe Ruth has done. I mean, it's been almost 100 years, 1927. It's been almost 100 years since someone has done what Aaron Judge is about to do, which is kind of incredible, and I kind of wanted to put some context around that, so I figured let's ask the really old guy who's from New York who watched Roger Maris play.
Well, there was talk that the ball was juiced that year too, and
in 61?
And in 61.
Huh.
What people forget, number one, about Maris is if you're old and you saw him play, he was a great baseball player. He had an unbelievably good arm. He was a really good outfielder. And he was just a very, very good baseball player. I think he was a two-time MVP. Aaron Judge, by all accounts, seems to be everything that you would want to root for in baseball. Seems like a really good guy, plays the game the right way. What he's done this season is just ridiculous because you can see the pitchers. I mean, it's not like in today's world they don't know what he's going to do. I'm surprised he hasn't been intentionally walked more, especially with bases open. There are times when the bases are loaded. Right. I've said, hey, send him. But he seems to play the game the right way. Really good guy for baseball, and of course he's a physical phenomenon. He's so big and strong. You remember Dave Kingman? Is that before your time?
Dave Winfield would be the biggest player that I ever remember. I can't say I remember Dave Kingman.
Yeah, Dave Kingman was one of those guys who had probably more strikeouts than he did home runs, but he could hit a ton of them. He actually played for the Yankees for a while, played for Oakland. Dave Winfield was drafted for 4 sports.
Yeah.
Yeah. Random. Or 4 leagues. Might not have been 4 sports. But what Judge is doing is just phenomenal because you can see the pitcher's reaction. It's like, I threw a pitch that he's not even going to hit, and he takes it out of the park.
No, and as a guy, admitted, look, it's football season. I get it. Most people are focused right now on LSU Saints. I get it. But what's about to happen is something that is truly historic. And I guess I was just thinking about it because obviously I've watched a ton of the Yankees this year, and I've gotten to watch this from. We don't talk about it here, but I mean, most nights I go home and I put on the MLB TV app and I watch the Yankees on Yes, and it's been so much fun to watch Aaron Judge have the season that he's had. But I was also, 1998 was magnificent fun. It's all been spoiled now because of the steroid era and everything that we know. But I think when we start to build context around what Aaron Judge is about to do, I think it actually has a chance, and maybe not because people aren't making a bigger deal of it, so maybe not. But I think if people do put proper context around what we're watching Aaron Judge do, it could maybe in time carry the same or similar weight as what we once cared about, or maybe make us care about the home run numbers again. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I just remember in '61 how exciting it was. Being a Yankees fan, of course, but with him and Mantle, and there were just as many people rooting for Maris to break the record, I think. And then what happened in '98 was absolutely fascinating. That was so much fun to watch. I mean, steroids be damned. I mean, Sammy Sosa lit a fire under baseball that was. I mean, remember the enthusiasm that he had and how much he just elevated the interest in the game. And McGuire, of course, was hey, when you talk about Judge and McGuire, those are 2 guys that might be pretty similar size and weight. McGuire's a big man. One of the dingers. I'll have to look that up for you. And double entendre there, by the way.
Ah, got it. When you said dingers,
Yeah.
I thought you meant home run, but you meant the
Yeah,
bell ringer
yeah.
dinger in Muso.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I don't know, man. Do you have a thought though about specifically about what I asked there about home run numbers mattering again? Do you think we could ever get back to a point where it does?
I don't know. I mean, there's even if he hits with as many games he has left. I mean, Judge could still hit maybe 70, right? I mean, he could go nuts.
No. He's
got how many games left? He's at 59 with 12 games left.
They're 88 and 58. Yeah. So
okay, so maybe he could hit 64, 65, which would be fantastic. But I don't discount what the guys did in '98, and I don't discount what Bonds did that much. I just don't. You get me going all day about baseball. I mean, the best pitcher who ever lived is not in the Hall of Fame in Roger Clemens. The best baseball player who ever lived is not in the Hall of Fame in Barry Bonds. And the best hitter in a game in which the idea is to hit the ball is not in the Hall of Fame in Pete Rose. You know, there's just the three best ever, regardless of steroids or betting or whatever. But to your point, I don't know. I don't know how many people in America still care about baseball the way they do. Way they used to. I mean, I went to the White Sox a few weeks ago, and it was a smattering of a crowd. It was nice. You go to a Cubs game, for example, or a Red Sox game, and it's like a frat party where a baseball game happened to break out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more of the social event. That's true.
Yeah.
Listen,
So
there's
I don't
no
know.
question. Baseball's popularity has faded, and I don't know that we've ever spent this much time talking baseball smack dab in the middle of football season for very obvious reasons about where we are. But I think what's about to happen is it's a massively significant thing, and I would love to see baseball rally. One of the reasons '98 was so big, of course, on the heel of the strike, and then in '94, and then Cal Ripken had his streak in 1996, which brought so many people to baseball, and then 2 years later you have the home run chase, and subsequently, obviously, the steroid era has just crippled all of it, and baseball has really struggled since. But Aaron Judge, what he's about to do. I mean, I always say this, Lee. I love to watch history. Like, I remember where I was when Bonds, when he broke the home run record, when he hit 71, when he broke what was I'm sorry, not the single season, when he broke the career record, when he hit 756, when he passed Henry Aaron's record. He hit it in San Francisco off of Mike Bassick of the Washington Nationals. I watched it with my dad because I love to watch history, and I think we all knew Bonds, at that point, had been juicing, and there were all those questions of it, but I didn't care because I wanted to watch history. And so, watching Aaron Judge hit 60 and ultimately 61 and hopefully 62, I'm gonna be locked into it because I just think it's always fascinating to get a chance to watch history.
No, I agree with you totally. Since with eliminating any chance for anything other than beer, I got to tell you, when in 1974, when Hank Aaron broke the record, when he broke Babe Ruth's career record, we had a small black and white TV in my dorm room at Syracuse, and there were a bunch of people in there. We're all cornered around it, and the game was on TV, of course, and we watched it. And we had one of our suite mates was a blind guy named Scotch. So after the home run, everybody and Scotch yells, "That's the greatest thing I've ever seen!" And there was a guy named Marshall, and he screams at him, "Scotch, you're freaking blind!" It was just one of the milestones that you just remember, and he didn't say freaking.
That's really
what can I tell you?
All right,
Yeah.
maybe that day you and Scotch toasted a beer.
Oh, we did.
What is the malted liquor? What gets you drunker quicker? What comes in bottles or in cans? Beer. Can't get enough of it. Beer. How we really love it. Beer. Makes me think I'm a man. Beer. I could kiss and hug it, but I'd rather chuck it. Got my belly out to here. Beer. I could not refuse it. I could really use a beer. Beer.
Take it away.
All right, I got to thank you for letting me go all out on these Oktoberfests, because we've got 3 of them because I've been stockpiling, and last week something came up and I couldn't get with Matt, and it was a last-minute thing. I felt terrible.
It's okay.
But I just love Oktoberfest. I love the Marzahn. I love the amber ales. And so the first one is Shiner. And you guys, everybody's drank Shiner Bock, but Shiner's Oktoberfest this year, 5.7% alcohol, comes in 6-packs of bottles. This Marzahn-style ale is made with the highest quality 2-row barley, Munich and caramel malts, and German-grown Hallertau tradition and Herbsucker hops. Herbsucker, I don't know. For a rich flavor and dry, moderately hoppy finish, man, it's so good. It's just so good. If you like Oktoberfest beers, the Scheinerbach, fantastic. Then you've got Sam Adams, a Marzahn style. It's 5.3%. It's the most beautiful deep red amber color you've seen. Well worth it on the price point, too. If you can pick some of this up, go. Sam Adams has just been on a roll. Every special beer they've put out lately has been fantastic, but this year's Oktoberfest, I thought last year's was great. And then Louisiana. How about Flying Tiger up in Monroe? An Oktoberfest Marzahn, 7.2% alcohol. So it has a much different taste than the other. Yeah, it has a much different taste than the other two. And it, of course, has a beautiful color. Their liner notes say, this Oktoberfest is a modern play on the traditional Marzahn, bringing a big malt flavors to the table, heavy bread and toast notes, pair with subtle hints of caramel and dark fruit. It's just so good. It's available in cans, and I've seen it in a couple of places. Trust me, if you like Oktoberfest beers, which you know I do. I mean, I gave you 3 of them here, and Matt, you know what? I'm not done. There might be more Oktoberfests next week if I can somehow work it out to be back with you on Tuesday.
We'll look forward to it. By the way, who's on Sports Monday this week?
On Sports 225 this week will be one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Matt Moscona.
I'll look forward to it. Thank you, Lee.
Can't wait. Bye, Matt.
All right, we'll see. It's after further review. Stick around.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001. That's the number to call in no time flat. A big yellow van or truck with a giant clock on the side will be pulling into your driveway to help get you remedied at your Home Central AC, or we're getting close to heater time as well, even though the thermostat might not say it. Love telling you sharing with you 5-star Google reviews. This one came in and said, Joseph was the technician that came to my house to fix my unit. He was very knowledgeable and experienced. He explained everything to me that was wrong and could go wrong with my unit down the road. Would recommend their service to anyone looking to have maintenance on their unit. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. They'll take great care of you. A technician who is expertly trained and friendly to explain all of your options. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt and Hill. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Bayou Ford has $15,000 off MSRP on a new 2021 Ford F-150. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Rolling along. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Hey, Muse, let's make our Citizens Bank poll question of the day something about the Aaron Judge home run chase. Maybe something like, are you interested? Yes, no, maybe. Are you, by the way, at all?
Of course, yeah, man.
Baseball guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know, but you're, Red Sox fan as well. But
I appreciate good baseball, though.
And he is like Aaron Judge is a likable superstar. It's one of the reasons why it is perplexing that this hasn't gotten more play. I mean, he's not going to get to 73 or 74, which doesn't matter. I don't think anybody ever will. Unless they extend the season, but which hopefully they don't. I'd rather them go the other way. But another story for another day. But man, it's like Aaron Judge is literally about to do something that only Babe Ruth has done. And he will hit 60 in fewer games than Ruth did. I mean, it's Babe Ruth. It's Babe Ruth. I mean, it's amazing, and I'm shifting back to football, but when you look at Shohei Ohtani pitching, hitting, doing things that haven't been done since Ruth, Aaron Judge about to surpass Babe Ruth's home run dominance. He'll hit 60 in fewer games than Ruth did, legally. And then you mentioned in the break,
Pujols going for 700.
The fact that baseball can't market itself.
And by the way, Mike Trout's still a person. He's pretty good.
Trout's injury problems have been what's in my opinion, injury issues and the fact that his team stink. It's not fun. It's just that's the reality. I mean, eventually you have to win.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You have to win.
He's got no playoff wins.
He plays on a terrible team. That also has Shohei Ohtani, which is another reason why people aren't paying attention, even though they're in LA, which is crazy. But anyway, yeah, let's make that the poll question. I'm curious what people think. Or email me, tweet me, text me. You can tweet me at Matt Moscona. Or
hey, Twitter world.
You can jump in the Bayou Forward YouTube chat or text 225-396-4400. I am curious. I'm genuinely curious if you are interested, and if not, why not? Judge is a lot of fun, and maybe I'm a little. Certainly, there's a degree of bias because I watch a lot of Yankees baseball, but he's a lot of fun to watch. Okay, it's after further review. The Pro Football Hall of Fame nominees were released today. Headlined by Joe Thomas, of course, the All-Pro offensive lineman from the Browns. First-time nominees: Joe Thomas, Darrelle Revis, Dwight Freeney, among the first-time nominees. The other first-year eligible players, Chris Johnson, of course, CJ2K had the 2,000-yard season with the Titans. Jari Evans is a first-year eligible player. I want to talk about Jari in a moment. Navarro Bowman, James Harrison, former Defensive Player of the Year, notably. Cam Chancellor, who is also a first-year nominee. Shane Leckler, longtime punter, is a first-year nominee. So the list will be reduced to 25 semifinalists in November, then 15 finalists in January. Then they'll make their the decision on the 2023 class, which will be enshrined in August at the Hall of Fame game, Hall of Fame weekend. So also finalists from the previous year are always eligible the next year. So the finalists a year ago are Jared Allen, the great defensive end from the Vikings, Willie Anderson, Rondé Barber, Devin Hester, receivers Torrey Holt, Andre Johnson, Reggie Wayne. It's just crazy. Receivers just have to wait. There's such a long list of them in this era. Zach Thomas, Patrick Willis, and DeMarcus Ware all eligible as well. Finalists from a year ago that haven't gotten in. So I was thinking about Jari Evans, and it's going to be interesting. I remember having this conversation probably about 10 years ago with Mike Triplett. And it's rare sometimes when you remember these things, but I do remember this convo with Mike where I just operated under the assumption that Jari Evans was going to be a Hall of Famer, and Mike kind of said, pump the brakes. Not to say he wouldn't be, but just to say it's probably not as cut and dried as you may think. And he was right the more I sort of dug into it. And I'll present to you the two recent former LSU Tigers that are now Hall of Famers that had to wait their turn in Kevin Mawae and Alan Faneca. Kevin Mawae, 7-time first-team All-Pro, 8-time Pro Bowler, 2000s All-Decade team, had to wait 6 years to get in. Alan Faneca, 6-time first-team All-Pro, 9-time Pro Bowler, 2000s All-Decade team, had to wait 6 years. So Mawae, 7-time All-Pro first team, Faneca, 6-time, Jari Evans, 4. Phenomenal player, but 4-time All-Pro, 6-time Pro Bowler. So fewer All-Pro, fewer Pro Bowls. He was a member of the All-Decades team for the 2010, and likely at some point will get in, and in my opinion, should get in. Should absolutely be a Hall of Famer. He's just going to have to wait his turn. When you look at the names that I just rattled off, when you're looking at Jared Allen, wasn't a first ballot guy. Andre Johnson is one of the most dominant receivers of our or any era. Has had to wait his turn. Reggie Wayne. I mean, there's no guarantee that Zach Thomas gets in, period. I mean, you just have guys that are going to have to wait. I mean, Kevin Mawae is as dominant a center as the NFL's ever had, and he had to wait his turn. It's just, I think Jari Evans is going to get in, but it's probably going to be a process a lot like Mawae and Faneca had to go through waiting their turn. So I wish Jari Evans best of luck, man. Pulling for him. He's been good to us. He's come on the show over the years. Great dude. Represented the Saints organization phenomenally, being a small college guy to Bloomsburg, coming to the Saints, becoming a dominant All-Pro, a Saints Hall of Famer, one of the greatest offensive linemen in Saints history. Certainly Willie Rofe, I think, carries that mantle. But as far as interior players, Jari Evans is right there with any other that you could mention. And I hope one day we'll get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame and suspect that his day will come. He's just going to have to wait. There's such a logjam because of the limited amount of spots that they allow every year. I mean, my feeling is and has always been, you're either a Hall of Famer or you're not. You either are or you aren't. There is no 5, 6, 7, 10, 20 ballots. It's just you are or you aren't. And you're elected when you're eligible or you aren't. And you could fix this logjam by increasing the number that could go in over a course of maybe 2 or 3 years, but they'll never do it. And it's their prerogative to handle it however they want. But I hate to see worthy players having to wait the way that they are. And I hope it doesn't take off any of the luster for those guys when they ultimately do have their name called. But good luck to everyone, and we'll have news on Jari Evans as we get closer to this Hall of Fame class. But he's a guy that I think will get in. It's just going to take some time. All right, we're brought to you by DraftKings, the official sports betting partner of the NFL. DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code Baton Rouge. You can always unlock great promotions there at the DraftKings Sportsbook. The latest that they're offering up right now at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Again, new customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. And right now we're talking about bigger wins. New customers bet $5 on any team and get $200 in free bets if they win. That's not enough. Everyone can boost their winnings with stepped-up same-game parlay. So right now, for every leg you add, you can boost your winnings up to 100%. Say this again. This is everybody, not just new customers. Every leg you add to your parlay, you can boost your winnings up to 100%. So with payouts bigger than ever, why would you bet on football anywhere else than DraftKings? So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use the code Baton Rouge, one word, push together, Baton Rouge, and get $200 in free bets if your team wins when you place a $5 bet on any football game. That's code Baton Rouge, only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus issued as free bets. One boost per eligible game. Opt-in required. Parlay and wagering restrictions apply. Eligibility and terms at DraftKings.com/football terms. Licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-770-STOP. So that is obviously the new disclaimer that we have to read for these promos. But anyway, check it out at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code Baton Rouge. Oh, man. Short on time here. I told you I wanted to get into the All right, I'll do this very, very quickly. I don't want to bump it again because I've already teased this twice and haven't gotten to it. So very, very quickly. If you go to ESPN.com, they asked their 3 draft analysts, including Kuiper, Reed, and Miller. McShay was not on this piece, at least not that I recall seeing. They asked, what are you surprised at regarding the draft through the first 3 weeks of the college season? One growing concern with a player, prospects moving up your board. One of the surprises was the receivers with Jackson Smith and Jigba and Kayshon Boutte, neither actually having a good start. If you haven't followed Jackson Smith and Jigba, he has just 4 catches for 36 yards so far for Ohio State. So he and Kayshon both have seen their production drop dramatically early. A growing concern, Reed mentioned Eli Ricks. He's yet to start a game at Alabama. Of course, he's been injured, but looks like he's rounding into form. And with injuries in the secondary, this could be the week where we see Elias Ricks start for Alabama against Vanderbilt. We'll keep an eye there. Mel Kiper, when asked prospect moving up his board, he singled out B.J. Ojulari. He said he's the number 4 ranked outside linebacker in his preseason rankings and has a chance to be a first-round pick come April. 6'3", 250-pound edge rusher, active hands, good change of direction, all the things that we've seen, but talked about how impressive B.J. Ojulari has been. I think it's a given that we're going to see Kayshon Boutte's name called in round 1. It's just a matter of where. But B.J. Ojulari looks like he is rocketing up draft boards as Mel Kiper singled him out among all of college football as the player rocketing up his draft board early on. So good on you, B.J. Ojulari. Stay healthy, have a great year, and he's going to be really, really wealthy come springtime. All right, it is After Further Review. We're brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Blue Bond in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey and Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. That's theantiagingclinics.com. Theantiagingclinics.com for the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Blue Bonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette. Look and feel like your younger self. A simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate for hormone replacement therapy, and the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana can help. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. Okay, we'll wrap up hour number 2. Muse will have Tigers and the Pros next.
AFR.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Come on over to Corval Toyota in Opelousas and meet with one of our sales specialists to build your new Toyota. It's easy and stress-free. Or if you're looking for a pre-owned, we have a wide variety. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call.
This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Wrapping up hour number 2. Get to Sean Salisbury in about 10 minutes from right now. Right now, Muso has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Monday Night Football last night. Vikings lost to the Eagles 24-7, but trio of LSU Tigers made their impacts felt on that game. We'll start with Justin Jefferson. 6 receptions off of 12 targets for 48 yards. Just a long of 11. He had Darius Slay in his hip pocket most of the night. On the defensive side of the ball, Danielle Hunter turned in a really solid outing. Good to see Danielle Hunter back. Spent a lot of 2020 injured. Got injured again last year. Back healthy. 6 tackles, 4 of them solo, including a sack last night for Danielle Hunter. And then Patrick Peterson, man. Pat Pete, 3 tackles, all of them solo, had 1 tackle for a loss and a blocked field goal in that game last night as well. And aside, rookie Ed Ingram recovered a fumble in the game for the Vikings as well. So 4 Tigers on the Vikings. Pay attention to those Minnesota Vikings. Alex Bregman last night in the world of Major League Baseball, 2 for 4 for the Houston Astros. It was one of his hits was a double, the other a single, his 38th double of the year. 2 RBI on the night as well. Astros a winner 4-0 over the Tampa Bay Rays. This happened over the weekend. Wanted to make sure we mentioned it, though. So Aaron Nola.
Kalahai. Sorry, the voice is still not back yet.
Okay.
I shouldn't apologize because all of you are probably glad for it.
Yeah. Aaron Nola hit a milestone. His 200th Major League start. That took place on Saturday. Nola became the 3rd former LSU pitcher to start 200 or more games in the major leagues, joining Kevin Gausman and Paul Byrd. Nola did take the loss in the start. The Phillies scored just 3 runs. He went through 7 innings, struck out 8, gave up 4 earned runs. Plenty enough couldn't get enough to win, but, the Phillies.
Phillies, yes.
So that's Tigers in the
Right,
press.
Phillies. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. 2 locations in Baton Rouge, corporate in Bocage, and inside of the Mall of Louisiana, 9 locations in all. You can find them online at lmfj.com. Gentlemen, if you're thinking of buying that diamond, it's time to pop the question, and you want to thrill her. Be a hero with her and her friends. Make her just smile every time she looks down at that diamond on her hand. Go to Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry because they've been making that happen for 40 years. Great prices and always the Lee Michaels experience. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. All right, time for a 30-minute binge on football with Sean Salisbury. That's coming up right after SportsCenter. Don't you move. Hour 3 of AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana.
AFR.
When I mention GMFS, I always say changing lives. And it may sound kind of strange to think about a mortgage company and a lender and how that could change your life, but we're talking about changing your life financially. What if you want to go from renting to owning your own home, to build equity, to build wealth? That would change your life. GMFS Mortgage makes that happen. Maybe if it's through a refinance, GMFS Mortgage can help. Maybe it's when your family's growing and you need to move out of that first home to a bigger home. GMFS Mortgage can help. GMFSmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Hundreds of thousands of loans closed. Billions of dollars. The number 1 USDA lender in Louisiana. Number 11 in the entire country. That's GMFS Mortgage, where they've been changing lives since 1999. GMFSmortgage.com.
There it is. The extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only 96 calories. it's Miller time.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The defending Stanley Cup champion Avalanche re-signed star Nathan MacKinnon to a new 8-year extension worth nearly $101 million. MacKinnon, the top overall pick in 2013, played a critical role in Colorado's cup-winning season. After 2 subpar performances by the offense, Steelers quarterback Mitch Trubisky says he's ready to open up the passing game, hopes he gets the call to do just that, adding he needs to get playmakers the ball, make better decisions, and be aggressive. It has been a rough go for Trubisky in both games this season, but he's not Pittsburgh's only problem offensively, notes ESPN's Dan Graziano.
The hope is the line gets better as the season goes along, and they think it will. They can't run the ball right now.
No.
Najee Harris getting tackled in the backfield before he even gets to the line. So that has to get better. So, yeah, you trust Mike Tomlin. Obviously, he's been through, well, not necessarily this, but he's been through stuff before, and he knows how to coach his team through it.
Dan Graziano on Get Up. Harrison Bader set to make his Yankees debut tonight against the Pirates, batting 7th and playing center field. Bader, acquired on MLB trade deadline day, hasn't appeared in a big league game in almost 3 months because of plantar fasciitis.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. 30 minutes of football talk staring us right in the face now. Always our pleasure to be joined by Sean Salisbury. He's on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. He's here every Tuesday. Talks some NFL and some college. Sean, we always appreciate you, man. How are you?
Well, I'm doing great, man. Good to be on with you, Matt.
It's our pleasure. Hey, I want to start with Jameis Winston. And it was a rough go. Obviously, we learned from Jay Glazer that he's got 4 fractured vertebrae. Sean, how does one play quarterback with 4 fractured vertebrae?
I don't know what he did, but a lot of some good numbing effect and shots to try and get through it, and a threshold of pain. I don't know how. And I commend a guy for competing his ass off, and it didn't turn out well, but I don't know how. I've had some, been hurt in the back and blown out knees and surgical shoulders and all those things and thumbs, but I've never had that, so I don't know what the threshold of pain is. He was able to play, but the result wasn't very good, and he's going to take flack for that, but nobody's going to question if the guy wants to play and compete. So I don't know how he got through it.
Let me ask maybe a bigger picture question, because I think this is the question that Jameis, Dennis Allen, everyone involved has to make. At what point, when you are totally like warrior mentality, play through it, be out there for your team, but when you're a detriment to your team, you got to sit. How do you weigh that, Sean? Like, at what point, who steps up and says, or has to say, look, we're going to play Andy Dalton here?
Oh, right. Well, and they have the alternative because, I don't have a chance because Andy's played a lot of more football than Jameis Winston has in his career. I'm talking about because of the longer time in his career. I think what it comes down to is you love a guy's toughness, and it's kind of threefold. One, how did the staff think he practices and plays? And then during a game, if an injury happened during a game, same way, how's he responding to it? Do the doctors clear him? Obviously, if they didn't clear him, he wouldn't be playing. So they cleared him. Now you go to the player and say, how you doing? How do you feel? What do you think? I can go. Most guys are going to tell you they can go because they feel like they're letting their teammates down if they don't. And it's a badge of honor. So don't make no mistake about it. We all, you're like, and there's a difference, Matt, and I'm not saying for Jameis, any of us, that being injured and being hurt. We're expected to play hurt. Playing injured is a different story. And when it's 4 vertebrae, it sounds injured, but fighting through it. I don't say there's any negligence. It's just you ask him and you say, how can he go? And then when decisions are made for me is when the guy is hurting your team. Not the toughness part, but the performance part. And I understand if you're on a team that has a guy that you're like, I can't, the backup, then that's on the team to say we didn't get a backup that we trust, but the Saints have one. And so you get to a point in time where you say, you're not exactly going from Jameis Winston to some hack who hasn't played in the league. You got some experience there, and there's a reason you have him there. So, and unless now you say, well, Jameis with 4 vertebra problems and injured is better than Andy Dalton healthy, okay. And I love the gut, and maybe he didn't share as bad as how much it felt, but in the end, when you feel the performance of an injured or hurt player is affecting the team, then you got to step in and say, we appreciate your toughness, brother. You're going to sit this one out. I can't do it. For all kinds of reasons. For him, the player, for the teammates, because you owe it to them. It can't be I feel good, I like the guy, so let me go play him because he's showing us he's tough. Well, he showed you he's tough, but then there comes a point in time you say, listen, because for people who didn't know he was banged up, your first thought, because I talked to a couple buddies who didn't know, to watch the game. What'd you think? So your first thought is, same old Jameis. Look good at some points, be spectacular on some throws. You're like, wow, and then make decisions. You're like, dude, a high school senior would not throw that ball into 4 guys when you had Michael Thomas running a shallow crosser right in your vision. In a close game that 3 top receivers in Tampa are not playing, and they're fighting and scratching, your defense is kicking ass, got to protect the ball. That's what they think, and all of us do. And we're also thinking that while he's playing, that it must not be that severe. So what do? We judge his performance on results. And the results weren't good. And you go back to thinking, okay, is he the guy? Can he be the guy? Will he be the guy? Is he a January guy? All those things enter in. I don't know what the questions are on the building, but Andy Dalton's a pretty viable backup if you feel. But the performance will tell me. If the performance is affecting and becoming a detriment to our football team, I quite frankly, and I think most people say the toughness part doesn't matter anymore. We got to get somebody who can actually execute what he's doing. Tribute to Jameis for being tough. We saw Baker try to do this last year in Cleveland, be the tough guy and play through shoulder. It cost him a job.
Yeah.
And now he's in Carolina. So being tough's one thing, got to be smart the other, and you also owe it to 53 guys, not just one.
Sean, on the flip side of it, it's back-to-back weeks now where that Tampa Bay offense has really scuffled. Do they have big picture issues in Tampa offensively?
I think if the receivers are staying, Mike Evans suspended and injuries to, getting their guys back on the field, their top 3 players at that position at one point or another, 2 going into the game and 1 during the game are playing. If that extends, it does. I've seen the movie before with Brady. The one year when it was a bunch of young guys that he was babysitting, and that just was a season-long frustration, that Aaron Rodgers looked like in his first game he was going through a similar situation with his guys. Got Lazard back. So, now listen, I trust the guy throwing the ball, but there comes a point he can't catch it too. And with the offensive line still, and they're doing a decent job at having to work through their protection and depth issues, it can become a problem. But look at the NFC, Matt. The Saints defense played out of their mind again, other than let the guy get by him late, and then the turnovers put the defense in a bind, short fields and returns, so there's nothing they could do. And they were physical and playing great football. But when they're all out there, I still think when they're healthy, their roster's as good as they've had, and the Tampa defense is going to keep them afloat while this is going on because they are flying around just like the Saints are. They are. So long-term detriment in another season, be more concerned. I look around the NFC. You know who the second-best team in the NFC in my mind is right now?
You say Philly?
The Philadelphia Eagles. It is. And and people around the league saying, you hear experts or guys or, TV and radio and hot takes saying, I heard all off season and for the last 2 years that Tua and Jalen Hurts couldn't throw. They can't play. One's arm's not strong enough. The other is a RPO guy, got to run all the time. Well, one's vying for playing as good as any in the NFC, and the other one has played as good in the AFC, not named Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes. So and it's amazing what good coaching, what urgency with the football, and what weapons will do, Miami and Philly. So the NFC is not real strong. So if Brady's team can win games like they did against the Saints and gut it out while you wait and maybe go pick up a guy here or there and stay afloat, there's no reason why they're not going to be in the same position they've been in. It's the AFC you got to get through, even though some teams like the Colts and the Raiders and the Broncos look semi-pedestrian, and the Titans, but the top-heavy ones, the Bills and the Chargers and the Chiefs, are really damn good. So I think they'll be able to survive it. I do. But right now, Brady ain't going to throw for 5,400 yards with the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th receiver on the field.
Sean, you mentioned Raiders, Titans, Bengals as well, all 0-2.
Right.
Is there a team that's sitting there at 0-2, which usually is a playoff death kiss? If you get to 0-2, it just historically is very tough to dig out of that hole. Is there a surprise at 0-2 for you?
A surprise that'll come out of it, or a surprise that I can't believe they're 0-2?
Maybe a surprise you can't believe they're 0-2.
Colts. Well, they're not really 0-2. They're 0-1-1.
Yeah.
I'm kind of counting. I guess in Houston, I felt like that was a loss, right?
Right.
0-1-1. The Titans. Listen, I don't think the Titans. Matty, I love Mike Vrabel, but I look at that roster and playmakers, and I know the young receiver from Arkansas, Burks, is going to be a good player, and we know what Henry is. But look what Buffalo did. Great defenses can take away your best player, and when they did, they had no answer for it. I guess I'm surprised at how pedestrian the entire roster's been. And Tannehill, it looks like a guy trying to save his job, and they just don't. And if you stop Henry, you for the most part stop that offense. Now I know Vrabel will be on him, so I guess I'm surprised that they're coming out kind of sluggish and it's just like, wow, they're almost unwatchable on offense, and intense-wise, it's not there. And the Colts at 0-1-1 because Matt Ryan was supposed to be an upgrade. Matt Ryan made decisions this past Sunday, Matt, and throws that looked like a guy who was either washed, looked like a guy who was hanging on for money, and I love Matt Ryan, or looked like a guy who'd been in the league for 16, 17 years, and that the Colts just had no other alternative. If they're playing quarterback like that, they scored 3 points in 7 of their 8 quarters, and they got the Texans, 17 in the 4th? They're not any good. And their roster's got some players, and they got a good defense. So probably those. I'm shocked that the Raiders are so putrid, but the Bengals is the biggest surprise of an 0-2 team because it's the way they're doing it. First game, turning the ball over and giving up sacks, and have spent all that money and all that time getting the offensive line. And then the Cowboys again. Now, Micah Parsons will disrupt any offensive line. The guy is a foolish, filthy football player. He's one of the top 5 players at any position in the league. When they vote for their top 100, if that dude's not in the top 5 next year, those players aren't watching or playing the same game we're playing or watching. So, but sack after sack. Burrow now looks, he's a great pocket guy and manipulator of the pocket. He looks uncomfortable to the point where it's like he doesn't want an empty backfield, and I don't blame him. They can't block anybody. It's disappointing because they were on such momentum going into the Super Bowl, and they thought they fixed it, and they've got good perimeter people. Now Joe's making decisions that aren't conducive to what he does, and you know how I feel about Burrow. I think the guy's money. But I'm telling you, you can only take so many shots to the face before your head starts to wash the pass rush. For a team that went to the Super Bowl was supposed to fix it and be really good, that team's offensive line, they'd have a hard time blocking for Arch Manning on a Friday night. And I ain't talking about Archie, okay? So I don't know why they're so bad, but Joe Burrow, he won't be around for 9 years as a franchise guy. They keep letting him get hit like that.
Sean Salisbury's with us. We always have him for 2 segments, so we'll knock out our first break. When we come back, we'll switch, flip the page, talk a little college as well. Got to get Sean's thoughts on LSU's win. Maybe a question on those Trojans as well who were creeping up. All right, glad to have you aboard with us here. More with Sean Salisbury next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. For the Baton Rouge General Hospital, you know where to find them with locations and campuses all over the greater Baton Rouge area. The Mid-City location where, again, they reopened their ER mid-COVID and have remained open to serve the greater Baton Rouge area. The Regional Burn Center is at the Mid-City location. The Bluebonnet campus, where you'll find the Pennington Cancer Center as well. The Ascension Neighborhood Hospital. The Ascension Neighborhood Hospital has an emergency room as well. It's the first time there has been an ER in Ascension Parish there to serve you. That's the Baton Rouge General Hospital. And, of course, they're partnered with the Mayo Clinic Care Network. What that means for you is that your physician here in Baton Rouge can have clinical collaboration with the experts at the Mayo Clinic at no extra cost to you. It's the Baton Rouge General Hospital. To learn more, to find locations, to see wait times and featured services, log on, brgeneral.org.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
As a community bank, B1 Bank invests in relationships with the people and businesses we proudly represent. Our B1 bankers are here to help simplify the complicated, understand your needs, and make managing your finances easier. At B1 Bank, we offer an array of solutions to help simplify your transaction needs. B1 Bank, one highly personal banking experience. Visit us online at b1bank.com for more information.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time.
Filtered, you can always get him on Sports Talk 790 in Houston, weekday mornings there, and with us every Tuesday here in hour number 3. Sean, I want to turn the page, talk a little college, and I'm curious, watching LSU beat Mississippi State this week and the way that Jaden Daniels played, 93 rushing yards, 200 passing yards. If there's one criticism, Sean, it's been that sometimes Jaden is passing up throws to tuck and run, and as a result, these really dynamic receivers that LSU has, they're not getting involved. So how much of that is programmed? How much of that is coachable with Jaden?
Oh, I think it's coachable at times, but it's also awareness. We've been talking about your guy, and they're different players, but and LSU fans got spoiled because we all did, football fans, because of what Joe did with his ability to, even though he extended plays, his ability to go from 1 to 2 to 3 and either use himself as a check down or he got through his progressions. That's why so many big plays. He didn't miss open windows. And, Matt, I may have said this on your show before, but it bears repeating, and I say it often to people, whether it's guys I'm coaching or watching, and when I watch it, is that we all lean on what we do best. Now, I'll tell you what Jaden did over the weekend. Now, he may be missing some big plays and progressions, but and we complain about those when you lose. When you win, you say, yeah, what a bummer, but look what he did.
Right.
I mean, when he made the scrambles, I think it was 13-0, and he made the scramble on the drive. It was like 13, 20, and 15 or 16-yard scrambles and runs. Well, you'll take them any way you can get them. And it led to I think it turned it to 13-7.
That's exactly right. Exactly
right.
right.
And if I'm not mistaken, and after that opening drive, it looked like, oh my gosh, here goes Leach's team again. And then they settled in a bunch of fourth and shorts. They couldn't be consistent. But what Jaden did was do what his strength is, and we all do it, Maddie. We've all done it at the position we have a strength. Now you got to be able. Part of it's coaching, but also as part of it's the discipline to coach your own self out of not bailing too, and that's awareness. Some of it's intuitive, and some of it's DNA that you're born with. But if you get to the point, and what leads to that is the trust in the fellas blocking for you, but what you see in your windows and what you see going through your progressions, it's not abnormal. And remember, this is his first year in this system. Even though you say, well, Sean, we're into the season, I get it, but it's just different football, and it's different system, and it's different verbiage, all the things go with it. So what happens if you feel late, it's simple to say, I'm not going to sit back here. I'm better than those guys trying to tackle me. Let me go make a play. So I get it. That happens, Matt, more often in college football than you think. Even by some of the guys that we look at and say, big-time players, most of them, and if the crutch is leaning on throwing into the first window on your first progression, and guys are doing that and not getting to the second progression because the first guy's not open, and he's a pocket guy, that could be a problem for somewhere else too. So I think that it's a combination. It's not just one thing. I've seen guys who started that didn't have much awareness and started to get better at it. Jalen Hurts is a perfect example. Relied on his feet. Now you start to see how he's starting to elevate, and you lean on that crutch. But the more you see and the more you know, the easier it is to hang in there and say, oh, that second window dig route, that deep in cut's going to come open. Let me hang one step further, and then I'll bail. He may be bailing a little too early, but I'll take the rushing yards and winning a game and at home against a good offense and shutting the 16 points. Listen, it's tough to keep that team there, and their defense did a good job. So it's part of it, but there also gets to a point now, if they lose that game, we say they need more big plays in the passing game, get the ball to them. It's a matter of trust and understanding what you see and not leaning on your crutch, although his crutch worked this week, and that's okay.
Yeah. Sean, I know you watched him against Florida State, and then, of course, this weekend. Be it Jaden or the team as a whole, I'm curious where you have noticed progression with the team in 2 weeks.
Well, I love the way they responded. Their short yardage game against Mike, because you never know what Leach is doing in the fourth down. I mean, he'll go for him.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter where it is on the field. But defensively, just I don't want to say effort. Everybody gives effort. I shouldn't have to coach effort. Brian Kelly shouldn't. Nobody should. And I think we man, they played hard. Well, of course they played hard. They're at home. You're playing college. It's your job for that 3 or 4 hours. Play hard. Playing smarter. I think play smart. Look at the special teams. They took care of their business on special teams with the Mississippi State gap and took care of that, which the week before we were talking about 5 or 6 things that they got to fix. Well, to me, when you don't let them fester, you're going to make mistakes, but how quickly do you process that information and move to the next play or the next week? So I think Jaden's getting better. I need bigger plays in the passing game with bigger chunk plays on a more consistent basis, but okay, I'll take the win. I think physically they proved that they can not only play you physically, but when you're playing a Mike Leach team, and he likes to run it as well, but you've got to also be able to be physical without losing the ability to run in space and do it. And I thought they did a hell of a job with that after the start that Mike put on them. And we're going to start now with this game last week, Maddie, in the next 2 weeks, as you ask this question again and we do it. You're going to start to see as we roll into this over the next 2-3 weeks, bigger tests and more consistent tests where you have to get better against people in your conference as you start to play the conference games. And a Mike Leach is a good start. You leave that one with a win, you'll take it. So, and I'm seeing a quarterback who's a little more decisive, yet I could use a little more patience at the position. But the ability to be physical without losing your ability to run in space defensively was pretty impressive, and not to allow the game to get out of hand early after Mike scored on that 80-plus yard drive on the first series, and to respond. I'm big on teams that respond to a punch in the face, and I thought that was a really, really good response for that team that took a while to get going, meaning LSU.
He's on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. You're right. I mean, look, New Mexico this week, but then when the calendar flips to October, it's at Auburn, Tennessee, at Florida, Ole Miss. I mean, we will.
And real quick, Patty, about this New Mexico game, they're going to curb stomp New Mexico. I get that, but these are the type of games. They're sandwiched in between a one they won. It's a tough competition, and their quarterback had been playing great football, and they were inconsistent in that game, meaning Mississippi State's offense. But that schedule that I talked about, when you get into conference play, it's one after the other. This type of game, it's not a danger. I'm not going to give you the Lou Holtz speech of, boy, you're going to beat them. That's not my point. But, Maddie, it's like I want him to, and I don't mean this disrespectful to New Mexico, I want him to curb stomp them. I want to see – you watch Georgia play, and I know they're not Georgia, but they hammer the teams they're supposed to, right? I mean, they leave no questions asked. You go into the tape the next day saying, you guys didn't come ready to play because you're supposed to win by 45, and they do. And then they put it on teams that are supposed to be competitive. So with LSU that has been there, as we saw the epic season, and we got used to that, is not to take a game like this for granted, not because you don't want that you're afraid you're going to lose. You got to they're getting they're on scholarship too, but you're not going to lose it. But I want to see, this is the perfect chance. It's like when you're working on a guy's mechanics on a practice field. This is the chance to do to rep properly. You're too skilled to lose this game against New Mexico, but not to take that for granted, to still run crisp routes. So I learn a lot about teams in games like this, Matt. I do watch them fairly closely if I'm coaching, because I want to see if you're one of those guys or one of those teams that just plays down to competition all the time. They need to punch them in the mouth and get themselves another bit of confidence moving forward. Great game for Jaden. Take some shots. Take some shots on second and one, and you got a man-to-man coverage. Get those guys the ball down the field, and let's see what they can do, because you're going to need it in your next 4 and beyond opponents for sure.
The Tigers are a 31-point favorite against New Mexico. It should not be a stressful day in Tiger Stadium.
Right.
It should not be. Hey,
that's right.
Before you go, man, we were talking about this earlier. Your Trojans, they will most likely be a road dog to Utah. Any other spot on that schedule where you go, look out for that one?
It's so funny. I was talking about that today on a podcast I was doing with a buddy of mine. I'm like, you know what? I don't like it because, in the past, the trip to the Palouse and playing Washington State, and all of a sudden it's raining sideways and you fumble 2 balls in your own territory, and before you know it, it's 21-17 in the fourth quarter. Like, oh, hell no. They got Oregon State this week, Maddie. Now, listen, think about this, how good SC's offense is. There is, when you look at the perimeter people, they're as explosive as any perimeter in the country, right? I mean, with the quarterback and the receivers and the speed and Lincoln Riley calling plays, they can keep up with Ohio State. They've got that type of personnel. Now, defensively and physicality, we'll see when they run into Utah. They play pretty damn good against Stanford. But they're going to Corvallis. Who knows what the weather will be? Oregon State's 3-0. Well, this is the type of game I'm talking about. 3-0, and the Trojans are less than a touchdown favorite.
Yeah,
now, you think about that, right? So games like this scare me a little, because I hope that Lincoln Riley says, no, we're getting our 50, and let's go and end this quickly. But they do scare me because I played up there, Maddie, and you can get caught up in, and you never know what the weather's going to be. And before you know it, you're kind of floundering around in the middle of the third quarter. It's like, They're within 10 points. I've seen the movie. I'm hoping that with Lincoln it changes since the last 6, 7, 8 years, and I think it will. But in truth, if the Trojans play, let's just say 85% of their best football, and I don't mean this arrogant, it's just a fact in the Pac-12. If they play 85 to 90%, they have one big test, and that's Utah. And if they beat Utah, which will be a tough one, they can run the table. If they run the table, they'll be in the Final Four. It's that simple. They just will.
I agree. It's it sets up very nicely if they can stay on course. We'll see.
It's good. Hey, you know what? It's good to be a Pac-12er, Patty. When teams like this, maybe it's not as difficult as in the SEC, and you got weapons on offense. I'm not apologizing for it one bit. I'll take it when I can get it. So there you go.
But there also has not been a Pac-12 team in the playoff since Washington in 2016. So I mean, you have to run the table essentially to get into that Final Four. So
if we have one loss, unless the SEC and Big Ten decide to trip all over themselves, Michigan, Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama, or Clemson in the ACC, you're not getting in unless you're undefeated. And you're right, Washington. And that year, Washington in the playoff wasn't a great I mean, they were during the regular season, but they didn't show up very well in the four. So it's time for the Trojans. It's a perfect opportunity, and it sets up for them to run the table. But if you lose a game and give one away, the Pac-12 will be eliminated because nobody else is going. The Trojans are the last hope.
Yeah. He's on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. You'll give him a follow. He's with us every Tuesday here in hour number 3. We always appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
All right, man. That is Sean Salisbury. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com, Michelli.com. At Michelli, they are an ISO 17025 accredited laboratory. So you can check that out. If you don't know what that means, then you probably don't need Michelli. If you do, then you understand why that's so important. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. 75 years in business, and they are hiring. So if you go to the website, hit the careers tab right at the top, hit the apply now, and you can see all of the different positions that are available if you want to join the team at Michelli. The New Orleans office, the Baton Rouge office, the Lake Charles office, Michelli.com. Check out a list of all their services online at Michelli.com. Request a quote. You can ship your equipment to them at Michelli. They even offer on-site calibrations for devices and equipment that you can't have leave your job site or your place of business or your lab. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com, Michelli.com. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Glad that you're hanging out with us here as we move through hour number 3. We'll always appreciate Sean for being with us. If you missed it in hour number 1, Peter Burns was here. The SEC 2023 football schedule releases coming up in 27 minutes. They have released week 1. We know LSU is going to play Florida State, but now we know when LSU is going to play Florida State. I'll tell you that next on AFR.
AFR.
Bayou Ford has $15,000 off MSRP on a new 2021 Ford F-150. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
In 23 minutes on the SEC Network, the full SEC 2023 college football schedule will be released. So we know who the opponents are. What we don't know is when the games will be played and in what order. So we know LSU is opening up week 1 against Florida State in Orlando. What we now know is that LSU and Florida State will open up in Orlando on Sunday, September the 3rd. So for the second consecutive year, LSU and Florida State will open up on a Sunday. There are benefits, obviously, to that where you're in a standalone TV window. You are the only game of the day. All eyes are on you. But certainly that is a much better lot in life when you win the game, which LSU did not do this year. Hawaii and Vanderbilt will play on week 0. That's the return trip from Hawaii to Vanderbilt. Other notable games in the opening week, Florida does go out to Salt Lake City to play Utah. Some of these TV times are still to be determined, obviously. North Carolina and South Carolina will play in Charlotte. Virginia and Tennessee will meet in Nashville. And as we mentioned, the other big SEC game of the opening weekend would be Florida State, LSU in Orlando, the second of this home neutral, two-game neutral site that they're going to play with LSU and Florida State. So no word if Florida State will have a week 0 game yet. I'm sure next year that will be a major talking point, but we'll cross that bridge if and when we get there. All right, we're brought to you by Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. I tell you every single day. That's me, that's Terrio, that's Richard Tilley, that's all of our friends and all of our partners at Hudco Roofing, a local company. We are Louisiana's first and only Louisiana-based fortified roofing company. Certified fortified roofers. You can learn more about how fortified roofing can save you up to 52% on your homeowner's insurance premiums. Did you hear what I said? A fortified roof can save you up to 52% on your homeowner's insurance premiums. Learn more when you call HUDCO Roofing. The Baton Rouge office, the Bossier office, but we service the entire state of Louisiana no matter where you are. Go to HUDCOroofing.com. You can fill out the form on the homepage to get your free, no-obligation roofing inspection. HUDCO Roofing and HUDCOroofing.com. Do business with someone you know. HUDCO Roofing and HUDCOroofing.com. All right. Dan Campbell. There's more Dan Campbell. Throughout the preseason, we kind of made like a weekly Dan Campbell thing where every time Dan Campbell opened his mouth, we played some kind of Dan Campbell audio. Today, Dan Campbell was on Stoney, and Jansen on 97 won the ticket, whatever that is, and he said this.
Yeah, normally like any fan would. I mean, I fell over backwards in my chair drunk after the second half. I couldn't even take notes anymore. I woke up, I couldn't read my notes, but I'm back in this morning. I feel better. I took some aspirin, and I'm looking at the cut up so we're good.
Dan Campbell is funny. I respect the fact that he has fun in those moments, but he is essentially Les Miles and Ed Ogeron, and this is what I mean. If you're not an LSU fan, there was all these years, especially toward the end, when people go, "Oh, Les Miles is so funny. He's great. He eat grass, the quirky, the this, the that, the that," and say, "You want to be your coach?" And people are like, "Oh, no, I want to be my coach." That's Dan Campbell. He's quirky. He's funny. It's fun. He does all the one-offs. He tells the jokes and all. Do you want him to be your coach? There's a reason why most of the successful coaches at whatever level tend to be more stately. Like, there's something to be said for being having credibility with the way you carry yourself. But we'll keep playing all the funny Dan Campbell stuff as long as he keeps saying stupid stuff. Also of significance, yesterday we talked about that Mike Evans suspended for a game against Green Bay. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have signed Cole Beasley. Remember him? Cole Beasley was released by the Bills in March, did not sign with another team. Beasley, who, of course, infamously would not get the COVID vaccine and was vilified for it. But Mike Evans, his suspension, injuries to Chris Godwin, Julio Jones have left Tampa in need of receiving options. So they signed Cole Beasley to the practice squad. It is expected that the Bucs will elevate Beasley to the active roster soon. So that's an option. Brady and Beasley have some familiarity. So they will, 82 receptions the past 2 seasons with the Bills. And he's been a slot guy in the NFL for a decade, mostly with the Cowboys, as we all know. So Tampa looking for options with some of their limited receiver options now. Mike Evans is appealing his suspension. We should learn soon here if he wins that appeal, but it is likely that Tampa's going to play Green Bay without Mike Evans, possibly without Chris Godwin if he's still not healthy enough to go. We'll see about Julio Jones, who missed the game against the Saints, so a lot there. As far as Evans' suspension, here was Dennis Allen speaking on the record about Mike Evans' suspension.
I don't understand, how they come to the conclusion of what they're coming to. Certainly, I felt like what he did was way more egregious than what Marshawn did, and it's the second time that's happened, so I'm not sure how they come up with those designations.
I am actually glad to hear Dennis Allen say that. The suspension, I think, was warranted. The one game for a second egregious offense was a little lenient to me, but I am glad that Evans was suspended and he should not win this appeal. For whatever it's worth, Tom Brady on his Let's Go podcast defended Mike Evans, saying he should not be suspended.
Well, it was an emotional game against a team that we have a tough time with, and I think everyone prior to the game felt very intense. The game was intense. It was a hard-hitting game. And, Mike and Marshawn, they've had their own battles over the years. And look, I think just sometimes the emotions get the best of us. And I love Mike. And the fact that Mike would come out there to defend me, it means everything in the world to me as a teammate and a friend. And Mike knows how I feel about him. So in the end, emotions are a part of sports. Sometimes they boil over, and they obviously did yesterday. And it's an unfortunate circumstance. I don't think it deserved any type of suspension. I think that's ridiculous. Hopefully we can move past it, get to a better place. And, in the end, I appreciate Mike having my back. I know he'll learn from it, and he knows that we all have his back.
I think deep down, Tom Brady knows Mike Evans wasn't defending him. Mike Evans had an open door to take a cheap shot at Marshawn Lattimore, and that's what he did. Tom Brady wasn't involved at all. Marshawn Lattimore waved his arm at Tom Brady and Bruce Arians, who, by the way, still nothing on Bruce Arians being on the sideline, which is ridiculous. But that was the end of Tom Brady's involvement. Fournette and Lattimore were shoving. Nothing had anything to do with Tom Brady and defending him at all. That's what Mike Evans would lead you to believe to explain away his cowardly action of cheap-shotting Marshawn Lattimore now for the second time. But we all know the reality. He's an alpha male who's been owned by this player, didn't take kindly to it, had an open door to take a cheap shot, took it, now he's suspended. And the suspension should be actually even greater. And then there was Sean Payton, who, of course, now is on Fox, who was a guest on The Herd. And he essentially singled out Evans as well about taking cheap shots.
Evans, the only thing I would say, and he's a great guy, I'm sure.
But Lattimore's owned him.
Yeah, and he gets frustrated. Sure. So in both fights that these teams have had, significant fights, you see a cheaper shot by a player. The rest have all been, Fournette's confronting one or the other.
Evans
just
is
talking.
Frustrated. He's the only corner that shuts him down.
Yeah, and so that's where you don't want someone to get hurt.
And that I think is the fear. When you see a large man like Mike Evans running full speed and hitting an unsuspecting player, that's the risk, and that's where it just can't happen. And everyone else seems to realize that except the people wearing pewter. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020. By the way, Sean Payton did talk about some FOMO. It was a great soundbite. I want you to hear that in just a second. We're going to get to Otter locks. But the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020. That's the Williamson Eye Center. Eye care, eyewear, eye surgery. It's the Williamson Eye Center, WilliamsonEye.com. If you need your eye exam, if you need to buy contacts or glasses, or if you want to inquire about a refractive procedure that can allow you to see perfect vision without contacts or glasses, the Williamson Eye Center can help. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. One more from Sean Payton. Talking about his FOMO.
Yesterday was the first day after I've retired that I had FOMO. I honestly was missing out. It bothered me that I wasn't a part of that. I saw Bruce on the sidelines, bless his heart. I'm thinking BA's close to the action, right? And we're watching another hard-fought game, and I know people want to see points, but people are drawn to a competitive game like that.
Oh, it's physical.
And it's back and forth. It's just what we talked about pregame yesterday. It was 3-3 at the half. The winner of that division is coming from one of those two teams again this year. And so that was – yesterday was the day where I just was jealous of everyone else that was there.
It took 2 weeks. It took 2 weeks. Always the inevitability. We know it, and he essentially confirmed it yesterday. Okay, it's After Further Review. Final break of the show. We'll come back. Jimmy will join us, a little Otter Locks, find out what we're betting on. Stick around.
AFR.
Man, I love telling you about Insurance Network of Louisiana. Adam and Jay, great guys over at Insurance Network of Louisiana. Actually, the whole team over at Insurance Network of Louisiana. I had a message earlier today via the text line. Someone had shot me a note and said, "Hey, Matt, I hear you talk about the insurance company all the time that shops for great rates. Can you tell me who it is?" And I absolutely said it's Insurance Network of Louisiana. Great people. 293-0450, 293-0450 or lainsurance.net. Let them shop independently for free to find you better coverage for less money. It's that simple. It costs you nothing, literally. It costs you nothing to have them shop for you. And if they find you better coverage and save you money, then switch. And they handle everything. 293-0450, 293-0450. Give them a call. Remember, not just in Louisiana, but Texas, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida. They're licensed in all those areas. So log on at lainsurance.net, lainsurance.net for Insurance Network of Louisiana.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. One thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
All right, so we turn to the one and only, the incomparable, the often incomprehensible, the Outfather himself, who hit last night with the Eagles, but not so lucky with the Titans. We have the horn. No. There it is. So anyway, the Bills are just a dump truck right now. Otter, how are you?
Doing great, man. Doing great. We told you that Football Sunday collective 12-0, and Andy Isco and Paul Nolan both at Philadelphia last night to complete a 14-0.
About it.
Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday. How about that?
It pays to take about 30 minutes out of your Sunday in the 11 a.m. hour to make sure you're listening to all those guys give their NFL picks. It's very, very smart NFL people giving you their picks.
That was, man, write it down. I've never been a part of that. Now look, so they both had Philadelphia. There was like me and Aaron Browning both had the Lions. So there were some common picks, some crossover picks. Yeah. But still, everybody's entries collectively 14-0. Phenomenal. All right, you know what? You mentioned the Bills. I like to call it the chalk early, dogs late. And Matt, you got to get on the Bills right now, minus 5.5. It's only going to go up.
Okay.
I mean, how good can this team be? They were the most bet team in the offseason, okay, on the future bets. Then they had a standalone game against the Rams. They blew them out. Standalone game again last night. They blew it out. Or they made a standalone game, at least for Minnesota, so they got out the way. this thing's only going up. Even though with the Dolphins, with their come from behind win, and there's a lot of positivity there. They're 2-0, but don't even blink, man. They're coming with the Bills. That's the best line you're going to get right now. Get it before it goes to 6, 6.5, or even 7.
Okay, I just locked it in. All right, we got anything tonight?
Yep, Angels minus 125 on the road. Major pitching advantage on the hill, and they're still trying. Like
1
Mike
minute
Trout,
remaining.
Colorado at home minus 115, and then Seattle with Castillo on the road laying 1.5 minus 122.
All right, wait. So Seattle, you're laying the run line. You said.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so Angels money line, Rockies money line, Mariners on the run line. Those are your picks tonight. Otter, where are you?
Dozy Place on Government Street, right down the street.
Y'all get by and see the Otter. If you can't, make sure you tune in here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge or the Game Time with Jimmy Ott Facebook page. Thank you, Otter.
All right, Matt. Thank you.
All right. Muse, what'd you learn today?
Oklahoma University, the Norman Territorial College.
Originally. Paulie?
Sean Payton has FOMO.
You learn anything, Matt?
Lee has a blind friend named Scooch.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Mold Zero USA. Mold-0USA.com. It's been a great pleasure to be able to tell so many people about Mold Zero because, man, they're really helping people. Mold obviously can be dangerous. You don't need me to tell you about the dangers of mold in your home or your office place. But what Mold Zero does is eliminates mold and odors and dozens of other harmful pathogens as well with a non-toxic, patented dry fog treatment process. This is minimally invasive. You would only have to be out of your home or your office for maybe 2 hours while it dries. That's about it. And it gets into every nook and cranny to kill mold wherever it may be and remove odors. So call Mold Zero. Log on to mold-0usa.com, servicing Greater Baton Rouge and Greater New Orleans. Online, mold-0usa.com.
3 people walk into a bar. The first 2 order the same old margs. The third, Nuevo Topo Chico Margarita Hard Seltzer. Crafted with real lime juice and a crisp tequila flavor. Topo Chico Margarita Hard Seltzer.
Bayou Ford has $15,000 off MSRP on a new 2021 Ford F-150. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on